And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Red Dot Invitational semifinals here between QuestionMark and Team Titan. My name is Blue. Joining me this evening is Metas. We just saw a very, very close conclusion to map number 1 on Overpass, where TQM just managed to scrub by on their own map pick. Now we're here on map number 2, which is going to be Train Titan's map pick. The potential to be another very, very close matchup. Isn't that right?
I agree, yeah, definitely. I mean, EnVyUs, when you look at their stats over the last 3 months of train, nothing too spectacular. They're actually 3 for 8, 3 wins, 8 losses. But then when you factor how many of those have been close, the wins they have got, they've got a 16-10 victory against Fnatic. This is about 2 months or so ago. They've lost the Virtus Pro numerous times, and let's face it, VP are crazy good on train. And they've lost close as well, like 16-13. So, although the stats do suggest that Titan aren't the best train team in the world, they're definitely a decent train team. And as you called before, TQM, a good train team, but they themselves have had inconsistency on this map in the past. So it really depends on which TQM shows up today. We saw in the early stages of Overpass, TQM was shockingly bad. Like, they just were not playing anywhere near what they're capable of doing. They did drag it back at the end, but if Titan can catch them in a bit of a slump again here on train and break the economy on the CT side, anything's possible.
And we're going live with a knife round now, so we'll see who gets it. Again, this is another map where it's fairly one-sided over towards the CTs, so being able to win that knife round and start off there can be fairly crucial. I think it was a large part of the reasons to why Titan was able to start off so well. Had they started off on the T side, probably could have been looking at a completely different map, to be honest, because of how somewhat poorly Titan were doing at the beginning of their own T-sided half there. But thankfully they started off CT and they were able to get themselves off to a good start. So warming up on the T side wasn't as big of a problem. It looks like we'll probably see Titan winning it again. They're going for the gangbang there to finish off Cajun. And that's going to end it in their favor. So they'll be able to start off CT side once again here on train and hopefully get that little bit of a good edge toward themselves here on map number 2 as well. Which leaves the question, how well is TQM going to be able to perform on the T side of this map?
Oh man, you got saucy on me there, Blue.
What?
You got saucy on me there, gangbang. I was like, hold on a second, what?
It's not that bad of a word, is it?
My brain went to dark places. Went to dark, dangerous places. I'm sure Twitch chat did as well.
I don't really think that's that bad of a word. Okay.
Maybe it's an English thing. I don't know.
Sure,
but anyway,
I'll get yelled at on Twitter by specific individuals.
it's all good. It's all good. Give me a chuckle at least. I'm sure it made some people laugh in chat. Either way, Titan are going to start on the CT side.
We're just waiting for the final member of Titan to reconnect, and then as soon as he does, we should be getting started with the match, guys. Anything else? Anything else to say?
Trying to get this back into, you know, like series territory. I'm hoping for more of the same, honestly. I really do hope this is a close map. That Titan can take TQM to their limits. I said at the start of this game I thought that TQM would take this 2-0. I'd probably still stick with that, but I mean, Titan, man, they perform so well on Overpass. It's hard not to kind of half hope that we get a third map. It could be Dust 2. Another map that could be very interesting for Dust 2.
Another thing as well, I mean, we talked about this before, but like, let's bring up SmithZz for a moment and just how well he did on that previous map. I didn't actually look at it at the end, but I saw like a post on Reddit where someone had like a screenshot of the final score at the end of the game. Pretty sure he dropped the 40 bomb by the end of that match.
He did, yeah. He dropped 4. I think it was 41, maybe.
Yeah, it was around 41 kills. So him going absolutely crazy. If that momentum is going to carry over here with it, again, keep in mind, he's the operator, so if that momentum is going to be carrying over here onto the CT side of train, and it's just as strong, whether he plays it, you know, inside of Z on the B site, taking down players, pushing it from upper, or whether he's playing it outside of Z, closer into the A site, and he's taking down players that are trying to rush out from TCon, it's just going to be a force to be reckoned with if that continues here, and TQM are really going to have to watch out for that. But we are live now with the pistol round, so let's take a look at this.
Yeah, very good point raised. Plus, shox can also pick up an AWP as well, and double up setups could be very, very interesting indeed. Either way, TQM have 3 players on Ivy. RpK eats the last bullet in that magazine from Devi, drops him down to 5, got dinked there, and is able to scurry away before the push came in, but that is a bit of a body blow. Existence now takes up the position instead. He's going to be trying to hold down the fort for the rest of his team. He can't get anything done. Players are being tagged left, right, and centre though, but still nobody's fallen down. Now suddenly 2 fall in quick succession. Make that 3. shox is trying to get back on the site. Double headshot for him. He's looking for a third, but RpK nabs it from just underneath him. And it will be a defuse for Titan. And that really was looking like it could go either way as the force came onto that A site there.
Members of Titan do get good amounts of control about it towards the end of the round though. And although we see both RpK and Existence getting extremely low on their health pools, they still end up winning it. And they are going to pick up the pistol here and get the starting economical advantage here for the CT side. But now we go into a very important second round here, and the question becomes, DQM go for the force up with a lot of utility behind it, or do they wait till round number 3? And it looks like they're going to try to do it now before Titan can build up a good bank. Unfortunately, I don't believe Titan are expecting this, as they have actually gone for the 2 rifle buys instead of the 3 that would denote they would be expecting it to be a little bit more of a rifle or a little bit more of an advanced play here. So they're going to try to play with SMGs, and that could be troublesome if these Tech 9s are on point.
Oh, they block each other. Smith takes the bullet for his teammate, nearly the double. But yeah, I think you pretty much called that perfectly, that they assumed TQM would just save up for the AK-47s, and then suddenly it's Tech 9 armor, so it's right up in their face right off the bat. So as soon as that first Tech 9 comes in, it's pretty much called out the play for Titans, that at least they have backed away and respected the potential of this rush, which is coming in right now. dupreeh's going to be pushing through that smoke. Devi gets the headshot through the smoke onto shox with the deagle. Existence is there to hold down for a few more seconds, but there's another Tech 9 frag, this time from dupreeh, as the bomb is planted. And this would absolutely wreck the economy of Titan as Devi comes in for yet another one tap, this time into the face of Scream. Now it's all on Existence. He's picked up the only 2 frags of this round for Titan, but can he rinse and repeat 3 more times? It's looking unlikely. He may not even want to try, actually, and just save this M4.
They're not going to have any money next round, so might as well just gotta go for the save here. He knows he's not finding a way back into the site. Doesn't have a kit for himself either. You can imagine there'd be one, I should say, on the ground in the site somewhere, but he's going to have to spend time scavenging it. Not so worry about the 1v3. Just way too many factories working against him. Way wiser to go for the save, if he can even do it here. Devi is going to be around the corner in a minute. He might have the advantage. Verso tries to take it long range, but Devi just gooshes him with the blood splat on the wall there, takes him down, retrieves that M4, gets himself a nice little upgrade there, and Titan immediately going to be back down to square one.
Now, if this is EnVyUs, you'd almost expect them to force buy if you're in Titan shoes, but they instead decide to play a bit more, I was going to say a bit more passive, but right at the end almost of the buy time, they decide to actually go in for this. They're going to have Deagles with Kevlar and a FNAS. So that's them pretty much committing into this round. Now, can they pull off any shots right here? They have landed a couple of taps there. cajunb is low, but it's all going to be on Smith, who's landed 2-1 taps, and he's hungry for more as well. RPK comes in. There's a spray down from the MP9, and now shox with the only assault rifle at the start of this round is all that remains.
They don't know he has it,
pushing
though.
Through connector.
Exactly. He hasn't fired as of yet, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise here, especially if Zipix pushes out for Reebox there, but he's signing back. He wants karrigan to make the play. The problem is he has the bomb, so karrigan has to sort of verify that the site is open. Gets a nice little dink there, brings down a 23 HP. Now Zipix trying to play it out. Might think E-box is clear, which is going to be dangerous. Also keep in mind, shox with virtually 0 utility here too, but he's smart about it. Plays it back, taking it very passively. There is reason to believe that it would be in the inner bomb site, so he is going to navigate over to there. But even if we do see TQM committing here to the outside yard and going for the plan, he still has a very real chance of retaking it, even without the kit, just because of how low the remaining members of TQM are. And I think he knows this too.
That smoke and flash completely stops him, but you can still see there's reasonable doubt for TQM that he may have gone even through like CT spawn into a position at the back of the train, so they can't be sure to push on that site, and now they're going to go right into his crosshairs. First frag and second shots plays that one absolutely perfectly, and Titan do take down the round and have enough economy to buy up again here, because it was only Deagles with the Kevlars apart from shox. What a play that ends up being.
shox, absolutely a mind genius there with the way he played that too. As he's investigating this, he's trying to figure out where exactly TQM are going to be moving in. I mean, he's got a 50-50 chance of getting it right, but the way he predicts that is absolutely perfect too. Sees the smoke and is like, I did some nice damage to him. It'd be a bit risky for them to play me out in the opens. They might just want to try to beat me to the punch on B, and he decides to rotate over there early. Pays off in huge dividends because TQM had no more smokes and no more utility to get themselves into that B bomb site. So he just catches him running down the ramp there, shutting him down very easily and clutching out the round to save Titan.
Yeah, the big plays. And now TQM have a couple of decisions to make. They could go for the force hit. They could get 3 AKs on the battlefield with upgraded pistols and Kevlar. That is definitely possible. Now, I'm assuming this is a lag issue. Yeah, Scream's lagging. Be right back in 2 seconds. Okay, so at least this gives TQM a chance to actually decide, you know, what do we want to buy here, guys? I fancy that they probably are going to go for the 3 AKs and then 2 upgraded pistols, but if they're desperately wanting an AWP, you know, if they want to put an AWP in the likes of karrigan's hands, then they may very well just go for a half buy or even just full on tap out of this round. Okay, it's going to be Tech 9 and Kevlar on Zipex from karrigan. He actually dropped that across to him so he gets some more grenades. So there's going to be a committed round here from TQM. They have answered that question.
karrigan's got easily enough to go. Karrigan and Device, along with dupreeh, they've easily got enough to go for a full AK investment too. So
yep,
there's no question. It's actually probably way smarter to go for the full buy. Cajun can still buy like full armor with a Tech 9. Maybe like 2 grenades being added into that as well. There's no reason why they shouldn't go for a force buy here, especially with it still being as close as it is. That would basically be giving Titan free rounds in the name of getting like a secure op buy with utility on a big gun round, which again, the op presence here from TQM hasn't been like amazingly crucial and or amazingly strong, judging by the performance of that previous map. So if they can get just Tech 9s and rifles, that's basically as good as it's going to get here for TQM in terms of trying to keep the game as close as possible and having their best odds to swing a comeback.
You get, like, as you say, a decent buy up here. It's also heavily factoring towards the idea of just breaking Titan's economy before it gets building. Because they must know after that previous buy, taking 4 players down, only shox is remaining, that although they will be able to buy this round, Titan, of course, I'm speaking about, although they will be able to buy this round, if they lose this, then they're back to nothing again. So TQM go for the Deagle as well on cajunb, as we are, unfortunately, still waiting for Scream to reconnect.
So we're still waiting for that to happen here, but TQM off to a bit of a trading start against Titan here, and having shoxy being able to clutch that out is not going to be the way they want to have this going. But keep in mind, again, with the amount of money they have, in fact, we've seen the op buy coming in here already from Device, who's going to be picking it up, or Devi is his actual name now. I have to get used to that, but I've been pretty good with it so far. He is going to buy the full op, so honestly, like, I have to see it in its fullest extent, but to be completely 100% honest, TQM might actually have like a better buy overall here than the guys on Titan, because some of their guys are still a little bit lower, like when you look like RPK and whatnot, but we'll have to wait and see when everybody gets out of the gates here, essentially, how it's going to look.
Yeah, true that. So still waiting. How you doing, Twitch chat? Maybe I've just made a mistake. I've acknowledged the Twitch chat. How are you guys doing?
Have you noticed how mad they get when we call him Devi? Even though that's his actual name now?
It's Device. No, he actually changed his name, Devi. Like, you know, he himself tweeted this and everything. So it's official, boys. And grills. Sup?
Hello. Metas, what is your opinion on C9 Stewie 2K? Because that's official now.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, my knowledge of the NA scene is not great to start with, but my understanding is that Stewie 2K is kind of an up-and-coming pro, right? He's not a guy that's been around the block for the longest time. He's not a guy that's been in loads of other, you know, top-tier NA teams. So, very interesting. There's been a couple of tweets that I definitely agree with. I think Natsu tweeted out that every pro has to start somewhere. Clearly, the guy's got talent, so give him a chance. I'd probably go along with that. I'd be curious to see how he starts things out. My worry would be if he's quite a young guy and new to being at a level of this caliber, if he's going to be able to deal with the pressure that comes along with that. That's my concern, really.
I've been introduced to, not him personally, but like sort of like who he is in a certain way. I haven't met him per se. Like I haven't formally introduced him, but I've seen him and whatnot. I think he should be able to deal with that whole like pro mentality. The big question is going to see if he has the potential to grow, because I think that's what C9 is banking on, is they see his possible strength based on his performances like in the recent ESCA leagues and whatnot, and all the other leagues that he's managed to play himself in over the previous couple of months. Like I'm trying to remember exactly his roster history now. I think he was on, I think it was like the last Splice roster. It's weird how it trails back, but he was really good in those ones. Unfortunately, the first LAN he played in, which I think a lot of people judge him by, like didn't really go super well. So a lot of people give him like a bad rep because of that. But if he's able to grow and learn from experiences, I think that there's a lot of potential sitting behind him. And I think that's why C9 ended up going with him.
Yeah, as I say, I'm of the opinion with everything in CS that I don't want to make any assumptions until I actually watch them play. Like, give him a few weeks to perform, give C9 a chance.
It should be interesting because I mean, like look at C9's like last round of pickups. Like they go for like these like superstars and whatnot. When they go for like Scooter and Freakazoid, they go for like these players that, for the most part, are already fairly well established in the North American community and everybody knows who they are. But now they're trying a different route and that they're going for a younger talent and hoping they can bring him up from the bottom and see how he evolves with the team in itself.
Right, so now Scream's back and we've lost a player from TQM. Anta.
It's back.
Good times.
Maybe Device will come and sub in.
Man, Twitch chat is out of control today. More so than usual.
Since they're two different people. Yeah, we do apologize, by the way, about the inherent lack of like any moderation in the chat. I thought there would be there'd be like a bot here, but obviously Metas and I don't normally stream on this channel, so we don't know what bot face it normally uses or what settings they use on it. So I wasn't sure how exactly to put in there, and it doesn't seem like there's any mods around. And obviously we can't mod the chat and cast and run the stream and spectate at the same time.
What? You can't? Oh, scrub.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can barely
bad, mate.
spectate.
Don't make excuses.
I can barely
You're just
spectate
bad.
and cast at the same time, to be honest.
You mean you can't stream, spectate, cast, and moderate the chat? What kind of a scrub are you?
Philadelphia in 2 weeks is going to be rough. That's all I have to say, man.
I'm sure people are understanding, I should say. Although, I mean, it's Twitch chat, so you have to kind of take it with a pinch of salt. I love Twitch chat, but I hate it at the same time. It's a love-hate relationship.
So, in case anyone is just joining us, this is a bit of an update as to how far this match has come and how far it may go as we get further and further into the day here. This is currently a best of 3 set. We're on map number 2. TQM took the first map on Overpass on their pick. This is the second map. It's Titan's pick. And our third map, if we do need to play it out, which is just pulled from the last map in after we vetoed the other 4 and picked the other 2, is going to be in Rip RPK. It's going to be over on Dust 2, which should be interesting as well, because Dust 2 with European teams can be quite a fun match to watch if it's the correct European teams playing each other there.
It can. I still would fancy TQM to take this map and to take it 2-0. Of course, if you guys are just tuning in for this game, as you can see in the title, it's the semi-finals. The final will be the winner of this game facing off against EnVyUs, who beat Dignitas 2-0 earlier today. And that should be a cracking game. Whichever team gets through, like if it is Team QuestionMark, go through against EnVyUs, that's going to be a sick best of 3. I think you said it was 50k that was up for grabs, right?
Yep, it's 50. Assuming the prize is still the same from when this was supposed to be a LAN event, it should be 50k. I have not been informed otherwise by people in our Skype chat, so I would assume I'm correct. And
if I was... Normally, this is the time I'd start answering questions from chat and just like interacting with them, but it's going so fast and so much spam.
It's just a combination of like people were spamming 9k earlier. Let's see, people were spamming numbers. There's all the gambling site spam, all the ASCII spam. It's unreadable. I want to know how Hearthstone streamers. Have you ever watched a Hearthstone stream?
Yeah, Crip.
Yeah,
it's like chat is the worst.
It's like this, but even worse.
It's like this times a million,
yeah.
And he's got normally like 20k instead of 56k, so I don't know how he deals with it. He seems to embrace it, though. He enjoys it. By the way, when you said 9k, chat just erupted with 9k.
Why were they... Do you know why they were spamming 9k? I don't know why they were spamming 9k.
I actually don't know.
Is it... I mean, it could be in relation to R9k mode, but... Because I saw people saying R9k around it.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
It's already on. It's just, like, not working. It, like, sucks. It's also like the easiest thing in the world to get around, unfortunately. But yeah. Who do you think's gonna win this set, personally?
I think TQM will take this.
TQM?
I'm gonna ask you a more specific question. What do you predict this score is gonna be?
I actually think Titan is gonna win this one, and then we'll go to map 3. But I think it's gonna be like, I'll say like 16-11 Titan or something around there.
16-11, all right.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll go for 16-13 for TQM. We'll see who's closer.
All right. We'll see how it goes.
I'd ask chat to predict, but then it's just going to be numbers like everywhere.
A lot of it depends on SmithZz, I think, and how well he's able to perform.
That's a fair shout, yeah. I think SmithZz is going to be integral. Obviously, the AWPA, Train, and AWP can just take over. We saw this early with Kenny S, who... I mean, it's one of the best performances I've seen from Kenny S in the longest time. He was a monster earlier on Train. So we know that a good AWPA can take over here. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I do also wonder how these pauses are going to affect the team's momentum. It has started the map. So I guess it's in that case, it's not like we're at 12-12 or something in dying embers of the game. This has got to be frustrating for players that are just DCing and such.
Like, all that hype from... who won that clutch? It was shox, right? That from the last story watch, like all that hype from I think it was shox. All that hype from shox winning that clutch is like gone now, so that like they don't have any of that momentum anymore. I love actually talking about and analyzing like the psychological parts of the game, because like I think in Counter-Strike it plays in way more heavily than like certain other games, because in so many other games, like most MOBAs, like I don't think mistakes weigh as heavily against you in those games as compared to Counter-Strike. Whereas like if you start getting like emotionally disrupted or the team communication breaks down and stuff like that, like it just completely throw not only like your aim off, but your entire team and your entire game. If like one player starts getting negative and that transitions badly to the other players, it's really interesting to study that sort of stuff. It definitely applies to other games, but I think it applies more in Counter-Strike than it does to any other game.
Absolutely. I maintain that one of the most important aspects of CS, like obviously skill's hugely important, the different aspects that skill has, like aim, movement and such, but I feel that temperament is such a huge part of CS, because if you're a tilty player, like I'm a tilty player, if I'm playing well, I'm actually really quite solid, but if I play bad, I am awful, like the worst. So if players are tilty, not only does it affect their communication, which in turn affects the performance of your entire team, but then you start not going for trades that you normally would. If you're normally an aggressive player, you start to second guess yourself, you start to be a passive player, and you play to your weaknesses rather than your strengths. So it has like this massive domino effect. So yeah, I completely agree. The psychological aspect of CS is a very interesting part of the game as well to me.
So we're still waiting, as it would seem. A couple of players are getting like in, and then they're getting kicked out again. I know that like there's something with this server too, where the admins have to like manually add the players back in. So that might be what's holding us up too. But I can't like see like other people besides like the coaches. So unfortunately, I don't know if Kenny is in the server as of yet, but we will see that in a minute. We're still waiting. I'm still thinking of things to talk about.
I'll tell you one way around this, because we've been filling in for ages, and like as we said, there's not a lot to talk about in terms of train. If you have any questions, tweet us. Our Twitters are at the top.
Oh, I normally, see what you're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of a shameless thing.
Getting
but
all
also,
the followers, man.
Also, additionally, it means we can answer questions, so we don't have to keep talking about random stuff. And because I can't read the chat, it's just like there's pictures coming up, there's spam. I mean, it's classic Twitch, isn't it?
It's chaos Twitch. It's like chaotic evil Twitch.
Right, so I've been linked how the breakdown of money comes in. Let me have a quick look here.
As well. It actually doesn't. Does it say?
It doesn't even say. It just says 50k is spread among the teams.
It trolls the crap out of us.
First, TBD. Second, TBD. What? Okay, brilliant.
Thank you very much for that tweet. That was very helpful.
Thanks for the effort, Christopher. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name.
Another thing we've been told, by the way, is that Devi or device, it's like it is Deve or Dev A. I really don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that sounds really weird to me.
Deve. It doesn't roll off the tongue, man.
I really hate pronouncing Danish player names. And it's nothing against Danish people. I just think their language is really hard to pronounce. Like Kirby, which I know is not right to say it that way, is the most impossible name to pronounce. I'm pretty sure like only Anders knows how to say that name right.
At the DreamHack Open Stockholm, the Cluj for the qualifiers, I asked how do you say it in Danish. He was like Kiebu. Like even when I was saying that, it was completely wrong. And the name I struggled the most with was a Swedish player called Højsleth or something.
Oh my
it was
God.
like SKYYT something. And every time I'd say it, someone was like, why is this scrub not pronouncing it right? And then Swedish guy told me how to say it. And my vocal cords will not work that way, apparently.
That name is another one. It's the Scandinavian languages. But yeah, I sat down with a friend who is Danish, and he tried to teach me for like an hour how to say Kirby, and it's like Kirby, like you have to make this really weird sound at the end of it, and it's the most confusing thing ever, and I apparently like never did it right, even though I thought I was. Yeah. Alright, it looks like, guys, that the game is finally resuming, so you don't have to deal with us talking anymore. Let's get back into the match.
Let's do it. Hopefully it hasn't affected the players too much. Hopefully they're all feeling good. We're ready to jump back into the action. TQM, we have discussed this before, they had a decision to make. They actually go for an AWP as well, rather than an AK with more nades, so... Obviously, Deve, man, I can't say it. I just can't do it. Blue, save me. Deve does have the AWP, but so does SmithZz. So there's going to be an interesting confrontation, and they're both going to be peeking the same angle as well, it would appear, through Team 8. And it's going to be SmithZz who gets the upper hand. Big frag for Titan.
The Shut that down initially. They're playing it very forward here too. We saw a lot of this back over on overpass about how aggressively they would play their angles, and this is continuing. You got multiplayer sitting up by E-box. Unfortunately, at least for Scream, that's going to bite him in the butt as dupreeh is going to be able to push back up there. Push down, I should say, in the ladder room. Takes him down, finds a trade to the earlier kill. Now RpK has himself in a very peculiar position. However, cajunb is not going to push it, and RpK should be able to realize this as the rest of TQM line up to send most of their players towards the inner bomb site.
Only the two players going to be in close proximity here from Titan. One of those is SmithZz with his AWP. shox is holding the angle at the back of the plant train. He's going to be peeking up towards upper, but here comes dupreeh. He's charging on him with the bomb. Is he going to get picked off from shox? No, he's got the flashbang. Completely wrecked shoxy there. And then SmithZz answers back with the AWP shot. So karrigan's down as well. Well, even though the bomb has been planted, Titan have time to get back on. The only downside here, though, Louis, they don't have any utility or defuse kits. They've got to get a move on right here, right now. And they've got a player snaking around from the back as well.
RpK's moving in, but he's not really spotting all that much. Spots a player in the bomb trade, just barely takes him down before he is traded down by Xyp9x. They spot Xyp9x, but cajunb sneaking around this entire time. He's going to be able to pick up one of these kills, but cajunb now moving back in. He still doesn't really have a good idea as to where exactly cajunb's position, and also no defuse kit for Existence either. He's got to take him down, and unfortunately, I think he just wasted his only chance at doing so here. cajunb just going to hide behind this train. Should be able to close it out. Now Existence's only goal is to save, but he can't escape up the ramp in time. cajunb is going to shut him down. We will see TQM picking up their second round to respond to the earlier pickup from Titan.
So that force just pays out so much for them. You can see Titan's economy, and they may even have to go for a double eco here. That's how bad their economy currently sits. So Existence realizing that, it's like, okay, we probably got to go for the double eco anyway. Let's at least get some deagles and see if we can pull something off here. So 4 deagles in play. Just the USP on RpK. And he's going to be holding the close angle here on Ivy, so we can peek across the pop dog as well. So TQM in a perfect position right now. But those deagles, you've got to watch out for them. Existence lands the one deagle onto dupreeh. That being said, it's hard to get too excited here, Blue, because in terms of weapons, they're still a mile behind TQM.
Yeah, and the kill's going to be out at way too long of a range to be able to retrieve that. So no pickups being found as of yet. TQM still taking it very, very slowly. It's just going to make their push into the A bomb site. They're just going for a basic default right now. Just going to make that a little bit weaker. Now when they go RpK, spawning a little bit of this and getting a taste of it too with the grenades that are tossed towards him. Down at 58 HP, trying to hold the corner outside in the short alley. Hope we can maybe catch the rush from Ivy, but right now, not appearing very apparent right here. And Xyp9x actually getting a little bit of a bite from Existence there once again with that deagle. And Existence is going to get dropped there. karrigan finds that headshot just after he drops down from the top of the train. And now, QuestionMark just taking it ever so slowly. They work their way out. RpK peeking a little bit too early, but it works out, I suppose, as he technically gets a kill, although it's from Device's gun. Takes him down, but then Device moving back in there. He's going to be able to find another AK. Picking up one more player here. There's just shox and SmithZz left alive. Still no upgrades at all for Titan. SmithZz, oh, has the flank, but can't connect any of these deagle shots. And that's going to be a bit of an embarrassing end of the round as TQM will pick it up.
Not a bad effort, though, from Titan, all things considered. Didn't have much else than just deagles in that round and still picked up 3 frags. Now, this is the problem. This is the issue. Like, going into this, they knew that they'd probably have to have a similar buy again. So, no weapons until round 7 for Titan. They have gone for deagles again, though. So, clearly happy enough to keep throwing in the $700 here and there. Flashes and Molotovs over. HE as well. Is it going to hit anybody? Does catch on the screen, but not too much. Now the AWP... Sorry, the deagles, I should say. It's effectively like a mini AWP, I suppose, in some people's hands. At long range, could very well just fire off on all cylinders, but it's only RpK that connects anything. And the rest of his team has been picked up pretty convincingly from TQM. It's all on screen. He's managed to get himself round the back towards team aim right now. He could drop a couple of plays. He misses his first opportunity. He should be sprayed down, and there's karrigan through the underside of the train. TQM take the 4-2 lead.
Not a lot of kills being made there, unfortunately, with the deagles, and not many headshots being found that time around, as well as it was in the previous couple pickups here. But thankfully, Titan still able to get themselves into another buy round here, sequencing through those deagle buys, and a nice amount of utility coming with this too, so not really any negative side effects to going for those little bit more of an investment. You're just missing a flashbang or two, but that's really not going to adversely affect your team all that much here. However, as you were mentioning before, buy does come out. SmithZz has the op in his hand. It's going to be karrigan that picks up a first initial kill here. 2 more traded back out, but still we see TQM lead things, and very swift control being gained of the outside bomb yard now. RpK striking back, finding one, but he's traded out as well. Now SmithZz sitting up in heaven, finding one onto dupreeh. He's trying to hold back and wait for more, but unfortunately he's got the off angle against these players. The peek coming out, and unfortunately just barely catching is going to be cajunb, and shox entering just a little bit too late to the party. Could have done some serious damage if he had arrived about 3 seconds earlier, but this is not going to be the case, and TQM shut it down once more.
Yeah, Titan just not getting any traction whatsoever here, just constantly slipping away. I've been told as well, now I'm getting told it's just Deva. So, at this point,
honestly, I might just
just call him Device.
Yeah, I was about to do the same, because it's like too much effort to figure this out.
Anyway, regardless of the guy's name, 2 frags, and make that 3 in the anti-eco bash. So there is Kevlar with the Deagles as the round loss is coming in thick and fast now for Titan. But still, you're expecting this to be a fairly convincing round, and indeed it has been for TQM, and they are starting to romp towards a very strong T-half already with 6 rounds. Another buy coming in for Titan. They do have an open play on SmithZz. What shox going to go for? I assume an M4. I mean, the option is there for another AWP if they fancy it, but that therefore puts them into... Oh, Mag 7, so going to play close range. I think we saw MBK do this on B-side in the previous best of 3, so I'm curious where he's going to run with this one. He's playing almost the same position.
Yeah, this is becoming a fairly common thing, actually, is to play this like close to ramp, just because you often see these plays that involve like 3 or more players just pushing down ramp after like they throw a smoke or something. And obviously, you can even if there is a smoke sitting like just outside of the ramp area, you can still time it based on the noise of the players walking down and pick up quite a few kills with it. So it's a very capable position, and we are seeing players like make the choice to go for a mag despite actually having the money to go for a full rifle buy. They just choose the mag over it because it can be better in certain scenarios.
Absolutely. Also allows them to get some more grenades as well in play than the M4 and Kevlar would have afforded him. Hasn't been called on just yet to use that Mag 7. Very passive play from TQM. We saw this a lot on overpass as well. Grenades have been used, quite a lot of them already from Titan. They still have an incendiary, but no smokes, no HEs, just flashes accompanying that. RPK at the back, just outside of Ivy, is hoping for some action, and here it comes. There's the first frag landing for him, looking for a second one as well. This would be a big pick, but he gets taken down from Deva, and that's pretty huge, I've got to say, with the Molotov banking off the wall. It forces Existence to back away, still gets the frag though somehow. So Titan regain that player advantage.
Scream hiding in that smoke now, hoping he can find something else here, but it's not the case, and his teammates are going down one by one, attempting to rotate in from Z, but the choice, it looks like it's already been made to go for the save. SmithZz peeking out, looking for hopefully grabbing at least 1 or 2 more kills here, but it's not going to be happening. shox as well with that mag still playing it inside, not really going to be able to do too much. He scavenges an AK, so he gets a little bit of an upgrade for himself, but he has to move away from it, and actually they're moving in now, so it looks like they're going to go for a very late attempt at this, but this is so much time being wasted. There's no way they're going to be able to pull this off with this little time left, and they move in, they find a kill, and they realize this too, so they're not going to pull away from it.
Did dupreeh do enough damage to actually take him out in the bomb blast? No, not quite. He tagged up, I think it was shox, loads, and then decided to back away. I thought the bomb may very well claim that life, but he does manage to save onto that weapon, to hold onto that weapon and save it through. To drop a couple and get another buy here, Titan. But again, it's into that kind of situation where it's all well and good being able to get consistent buys out and saving weapons, but it's rounds that you desperately need from Titan. Economy alone is not going to win them this game. It's going to be the rounds. So they're already trailing by 5, and TQM have already had a blisteringly good T-half, whatever happens from this point on. So much pressure on Titan's shoulders.
Taking it very, very slowly now as they're going to find a way in, but for Titan, again, still playing up very aggressively on the outside yard. And putting 4 into it, too. That's leaving a lot of confidence on the shox to try and hold things back up purely on the inside yard and is lonesome. And this is going to be well placed this time with the position that's currently aligned for TQM. Getting ready to go in basically on a default here. Depends on how they play things towards Ivy, as they're holding back a little bit, so they could just toss some nades in and actually fall back to go for a much more solidified push inside through like T-connector or something. But it doesn't look like this is the case. SmithZz has already found one of them. He misses that opening shot, but he has spotted that there is a little bit of something happening on this outside yard, so I imagine most of Titan is going to use this as information to just stick here for the time being.
Holding pretty aggressive positions now as Existence starts to go into Pop Dog. Again, that's purely off the basis of not having a great deal of grenades to play with and being worried in case TQM do get onto the site. You can see there's actually a lot of team damage done onto Existence as well. Wasn't sure who that was, but someone got an assist on that frag. Either way, SmithZz answers back with the AWP, and here comes Scream with one. shox isn't going to pick up that second frag on the site, and now suddenly it's Devon that's all that remains. He's coming through Ivy. He will get picked off from SmithZz, who has kept that form going forward here onto Train. An important kill, an important round. Now Titan have just got to rinse and repeat as much as they possibly can.
Nicely done being cleaned up there by the guys from Titan. It's not going to be able to break TQM just as of yet, as they did have a little bit of a streak going for themselves here. It was like 5 or 6 rounds in a row they were able to pick up. So still going to be working through a little bit of an economy, but it's actually a lot weaker than you would sort of expect for TQM having this many rounds chained together. You're probably only going to be looking at like 1 more full buy and then a couple force buys after that. So Titan have a really good chance to immediately swing back into this match now and try to get a lead. The unfortunate part is, again, there's how many rounds they have allowed TQM to pick up here on this T side. They need to stop this now and round it back. Try to bring it up to an 8-7, because otherwise it's going to be a half that's a little bit out of control, at least when you take into consideration what you normally expect for this map.
We'll say TQM did have some questionable decisions on their CT side of overpass as well. So I suppose Titan, although they're down, they're not quite out just yet. But of course, the first order that they need to deliver on is getting the rest of these rounds here on the CT side of Train. They've got the first frag. dupreeh's coming through Pop Dog. I've got 2 players that are situated outside of team main that will be throwing in those smokes, I'm assuming, any second now towards Connector, which are going to be landing. So cajunb, if he can get a 1-for-1 trade even, that could be good enough outside of Ivy. There is smoke there, so we couldn't push originally. Now RpK's backing off again. 2 players to his right-hand side on his team. It's going to be very difficult ask for TQM, but it's going to be karrigan who chases through, gets 2 frags. No way! Can he get any more? No, RpK is there, but he gets traded out. Unbelievable, though, from TQM. The fact they even managed to get a couple kills is massive, and Titan crumble again.
Another final 2 from Titan, just trying to find some way to forge back in. They actually are given a very large window to do so. At least shox trying to make his way back over here. Sitting behind the bomb train now, but caught completely off guard by Devon. And that's just going to finish things off there as he picks up the second one, too. shox and Smith both going down. No saves at all. Immediately control being regained here by the guys on TQM. And unfortunately for Titan, with only 1 round being picked up, that's an immediate economy reset and basically $0 left on their bank accounts.
So rough. So rough. I remember being in a similar position in the first best of 3 and completely writing off Dignitas in a similar position. But can we really write off Titan? I mean, they're a team that can bounce back, but it's just looking so bad right now. Their defense is not holding up under the scrutiny of TQM. A nice 1D from RpK at least brings us back to a 2-on-2. With just 2 pistols in play, make it just the P250 now, but shox has put that to use on karrigan. He gives his position away, so instantly Zipex is going to rotate himself onto the B site itself. Molotov thrown on ramp to just stop the initial charge. The plant will go down, but shox has an AK-47. Maybe, just maybe, this is doable.
shox is going to have to hope again here now that he's not challenged out by Xyp9x. He's given a lot of time now to Xyp9x to reposition, but he's being very loud with his approach through Z, so I don't think he was expecting Xyp9x to be playing it this close up, and yeah, that's actually going to be a very easy clutch for Xyp9x to make there. Shuts down shox with relative ease, and again, this map now continues to shift out of the control of the members of Titan. Because unfortunately, not only can they not get a hold of their economy, but just in terms of these round pickups as well, they're just letting TQM walk all over them.
And even now into this round, just very little to play with again, just a 5-7 in existence. No AWPs, they desperately want SmithZz to have the AWP. It's where he's had most of his success today. A decent enough setup. I like what Existence went for there. The all-out ballsy rush. He does get a 1-for-1 trade, which for the 5-7 honestly is a pretty good result. RpK and Scream do work on the site, and this now funnels both the TQM players through Ivy side. Try and get something behind the green train. But no one's there. Titan over on the CT side of the map, and dupreeh just taps SmithZz while running. Cheeky frag down to a 2-on-2.
Deva now looking for something, sitting back over here too, sitting a little bit further back towards the halls there. Not going to be catching any of it. And RpK peeking out. Hasn't spotted the barrel of Deva just as of yet. As he moves up towards the ladder there, might be able to catch it as he's going to have to move out eventually here. dupreeh looking around too. Catches a stargazing shox. And now with the bomb under their control too. I think they have already realized that RpK is somewhere in this site, so they're going to fake it a little bit in hopes that they could draw some more attention towards that B site, but not looking like it's going to work. And actually, if they haven't picked up on RPK being up here just as of yet, then he could surprise. Dropping down, they spot him there, as that was happening at the same time that dupreeh was working his way from outside of the ladder room. And now he's definitely going to go back over towards the B bomb site, try to hunt down one of those final players. He does manage to shut out Deva, and he's got a decent amount of time to run back in towards the inner bomb yard to try and win the 1 versus 1.
Oh, that's awkward. Deva was actually DC'd. Yeah. I was about to ask why is he still there. Well, there's the answer. So 1 versus 1 now. If RPK manages to clutch this from this position, this would be brutal for TQM. But it's much needed. They have to go in for it. Trailing 10 to 3 rounds is simply not good enough, but dupreeh's just playing on the site itself, a position you're not necessarily expecting him to be in. RPK comes running through, gets the frag, and should be able to get the defuse as well. What a clutch that is, but under pretty shady circumstances, I've got to say, with Deva DCing, that definitely puts a bit of a sour taste in TQM's mouth, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, because that actually explains a lot of the movement that was coming out there from the final member of TQM, in that if Deva had actually been there, they might as well have just gone for the outside bomb yard, and they probably would have had no problem whatsoever clutching that out. But it looks like he dropped out, and this happens like before he can really give any intel as to what exactly is going on. So this explains why he's so cautious about even going in towards the outside bomb yard, and why he was considering that too. But that's a bit unfortunate, as that's obviously a large part of the reason as to why Titan picked that up. So we'll see what is to be done about that once we get the final member of TQM reconnected, which is thankfully going to happen very quickly.
Right, now we can dive into those questions. You see, I was thinking ahead of time here, Blue.
I mean,
wait,
it's probably going to unpause pretty quickly. I mean, you don't have to go right to that. We still have things to talk about this time. The problem with the last one is it happened on round 3, so it's like, yay, 3 rounds, let's break this down.
Oh man, he did come back extremely quick, which I'm quite pleased with. Shox is going to go for the Mag 7 again, interestingly enough.
Like I said, I mean, there's no reason why you can't do it. It's still, I mean, like, if you're going to play that position and hope to get like 2 kills and then get traded, it's like, it's perfect. It's a perfect gun for that, because it's not as much investment as the rifle is, and honestly, you can make more money doing that, and you can probably have more of an impact as well than comparison to playing that area with a rifle. There's plenty of people making that choice, especially on cobble now too. A lot of people play it either like towards the broken wall area, or they play it towards like drop and cobble, and it's also a very good weapon for playing it towards that area.
I suppose what surprises me the most, though, is that Shox had $500 left and didn't buy a defuse kit. It's like a bit of a head-scratching moment, because they do have a defuse kit, but only one, and that's in the hands of SmithZz. I guess maybe playing for the next round as well. But either way, it may not even necessarily come down to that, as the mollies and smokes do get traded off in Ivy. cajunb eats a little bit of damage there, courtesy of the fire. Only 5, though, just the 1 tick. 2 players in there. Bomb still back, peering into T-main, courtesy of karrigan. 2 players looking to opt maybe through Pop Dog. This could be a 3-pronged attack on the site, but RPK holds it down. 1 frag, but Deva just answers straight back with the AWP. 1-for-1 trade will favour TQM right now if they can push right onto this site. Existence could be all sorts of trouble. They do line up for him somewhat. There's 1 frag, can't get any more done. He'll be disappointed with that result. And now the Mag 7 could very well have to retake the site. And this isn't necessarily where the Mag 7 shines.
And we're going to see 2 more kills coming up from the side of Titan. karrigan trades it out, but then there's SmithZz that just rolls right in there. Shuts down the remaining few. And that's actually going to be a very well-contained situation there by Titan. Bouncing back a little bit here now off of that last round victory. And they are going to be able to pick up another one. And also a free op for their troubles, too. Will be re-upgraded for these guys. SmithZz will be able to recover his own.
Yep, so Mag 7 traded out for the AWP, and I was a bit worried there. You know, Mag 7 not great at retaking. Wasn't needed. Scream came in, delivered fatal shots. And now good to go now for this last round of the half. TQM, not a great bout for them. CZ Tech 9. In fact, 2 Tech 9s. The CZ on Deva also has got an AK to accompany it, so it shouldn't be too bad by itself. And the Molotovs are in. This could be a fast push, and karrigan decides to charge through the Molotov, as does his teammate. It's not that flashbang. He's going to keep them alive for a few seconds longer, but Scream and Existence doing a great job. Deva now back with 2 frags of his own. In fact, just the 1. Missed that spray somewhat as the flashbang landed on his face. RPK, did he spot the player?
He saw it.
Running through connector.
About 80% sure he saw that. I don't think he realized that he had the bomb, however.
Yeah, so that's a free plant now for TQM in this situation. And from this point, now all the pressure darts from TQM in a 2v3 onto the CTs instead.
So Deva's now going to try to position himself inside of ladder room, but shox will be resisting this too. They know that there's an alternate flank being set up. The problem is, as you can see there too, is I think Zypix actually pushed the envelope on shox a little bit too early. Because that forced him back. They had a false sense of security, like, yeah, he's lit or something like that. And then that allowed, that forced one of the players to go upside of ladder room, and then from that point forward too, the other guy just was pressured back inside of the back halls, and they could just contain him and close it out from there. So Titan with a swift comeback here. They obviously, again, could have ended a lot better, but with the way that things were starting to go towards the middle of this half, it's good that they come back and pick up 6 rounds for themselves and keep it a little bit closer in that regard. Now, however, the T side is going to get a little bit rougher for these guys, because SmithZz wasn't exactly like the on-point opper that he was in the previous map, but it's going to be that much harder to perform it. Like T-side overpass, you could still op pretty well. I think on train, T-side opping is like really, really hard to do, so we may just see him abandon that completely, as plenty of other players choose to do on this map.
I guess it comes down to if Titan want to be more strat heavy with like executes onto B site, where the AK-47's just a whole lot better because you're up in the face, up in the grill of your enemies, and there's normally smoke in the way and flashes and mollies and everything landing around you. So we're very curious to see how Titan decide to jump into this next half. But yeah, TQM coming through into this, firm favourites now with 9 rounds on their T side, moving through onto the CT. They win the pistol, they're pretty much just a couple of steps away from victory. So a lot of pressure now on Titan.
And again, for the members of TQM, we actually have the 2 people that I normally expect to be at the top of the scoreboard are back on that position here for this match. It's Zypix and Devi/Device are sitting up on the top right now at 15 and 14 frags. Zypix improved his play phenomenally. I don't even know if that's a word. Over the previous like 2 months or so.
But it is now.
He was struggling quite a bit, but he managed to bring it back together. Whereas for Devi's always sort of been the high-tier player on this team. So it's good to see that they're back up there. That was part of the struggle that they were dealing with on the last map there, was that these 2 weren't necessarily like showing up to all the rounds. But now that they are, we can see that they're sort of getting back to that top shape, and explains why they're leading much more heavily here on the second map.
Yeah, speaking of, performance-wise, Scream at the bottom of the scoreboard for Titan. Never a position to expect to see him. So he's going to need to up his game on the T half here if Titan want a chance at bouncing back into this one. 7 for 14. Will be disappointing with that, but put an AK in his hands, he's capable of doing crazy things, so he'll very well come back into this one. Just checking what they're saying in chat so we have an idea of how long we're going to be. I think there's still some lag issues right now.
Yeah, there's like, I think QuestionMark has like really bad routing to the server or something, because if you watch Deve's ping, it's gone from like 109 to like 33 in the past like minute, so his ping's all over the place right now. That's like to start off another conversation, like I know how like bad America is with like telecoms and like our internet service, but that's like the one good thing we have, because we only have like 2 like ISPs that matter. Like thankfully we never have to deal with this problem of like routing to servers, whereas like with Europe, because of all the different ISPs that are there, you constantly have like people that like have a bad ISP that is bad routing to certain servers and whatnot. That like never happens in American games.
I guess
if we want to get super political, we could talk about that, but it's like an interesting thing that like this almost never happens in American games, that you have routing issues, because there's like 2 or 3 major ISPs that most people have, at least in America. I think Canada's slightly different.
So what's the ping difference between West and East Coast in America? Is it much, or is it negligible?
Depends on how good your ISP is. Like I'll get, if it's like servers, I think I get like 70 or 80 to a West Coast server, whereas with East Coast I get between like 20 and 30.
Oh, okay, it's not too bad then.
But I know some people that have a lot worse, and I think with like third-party services, the pings get a little bit higher, I think, just because I don't think their routing is as good as Valve's. But like I said before, it's still pretty consistent. Anyway, we're live now, and Zypix putting himself into a very dangerous position, but somehow manages to escape that. Titan don't actually want to press through that smoke for the time being, so they do allow their opponent to escape, and he gets some good damage onto them.
Does, yeah, more importantly, as you said, he manages to escape. The only problem for him, I guess, is he ate through a lot of his ammo. He's only got 11 bullets left in that CZ without any additional clip. So if he gets into the thick of the action again, he could very well have to scurry off, or maybe even go samurai mode and just charge at them with his sword. Either way, he's about to get pushed, and he's going to make that CZ work. 2 frags for a third as well. He does pull out the knife as he runs out of ammunition, but does get 2 SmithZz team kills Scream, and then falls down. The bomb is on the site now, and and it's all on existence. He's being tagged from the back, from the center. Oh, it's brutal. And finally, he goes down. Good round for TQM. And I said before, this pistol round was a much-needed one for Titan. It hasn't gone their way.
Xyp9x acting as a human shield there, standing in the way. And although that did look like it was out in the open, I think that was a smoke bug there. So that all happens inside of the smoke. And obviously Titan get very, very confused. But TQM reinforced their lead now coming into the second half. We see actually, again, a very big force, I should correct myself, from Titan now. As they go immediately for Deagle armor investment. Scream, they take a little bit later. He does buy up the head armor, but he's only going to go for a P250. So it does balance itself out.
P90 though, up in the face. So I can understand why Titan would go for this force. Just trying to catch TQM off guard. We saw TQM do this as well with Tech 9s earlier on in this map. shox with the Eagle is going to make short work of karrigan. That's a pretty big pickup as well. So the scout now moves hands. RPK was hoping for that one dig, but Device just walks in. Or Deva, sorry, my bad. And I'm going to get flamed for that. Does pick up the kill onto RPK.
So bad, dude.
2 versus 3. And Deva and Xyp9x, your last 2 remaining Danes.
And now for TQM too, it's all about figuring out like where exactly they're going to take this now that all the confusion's been going on. I think Xyp9x is just going to say like screw it, and they're just going to face check the outer yard to make sure there's nothing here. But it's not the case. shox does have a little bit more of a presence sitting inside of the T connector there. He does fire off a shot, but I think they realize he's the only one here, so they are going to rotate some more assets back over towards the B bomb site. And not only this, too, but Device is going to pick one up, but there's Existence playing with the Deagle. Picks up a shot from Xyp9x to shut him down. It's all about lighting up Deve now. And they will be able to finish him off. So there's Titan responding right back. And we're into another one of those traded situations as we had in the previous set.
We do. So a big, ballsy decision from Titan pays off for them. And they are now going to reap the rewards. At least they should do. But again, it's going to be Deagles. Very much a carbon copy of what we saw in the first half here from TQM. And this time it's Xyp9x who decides to stick with the USP instead. Going to be a fast push from B, though.
Xyp9x is also going to be the only one initially in this site, too, but he's able to get the call out very quickly. So, Deve along with cajunb are on their way into the site. The problem is, though, is that with Existence and Scream are already just decking players left and right. Existence, he's found a third now for this team to pick itself up. And they're just pressing forward against this now. karrigan's going to try to get himself into a battle with Existence, losing that. Not even doing that much damage, unfortunately, either. And it's just dupreeh, who is awkwardly shut down there, not even realizing that he's being rushed. Barely any damage at all going on to the members of Titan. And just like that, they're back into this match, just 2 rounds behind TQM.
Yep, within touching distance now. And because TQM went for the Deagles last round, they'd probably been on eco anyway here, to be fair. But it's going to be 4 HEs. Where are they going to decide to throw these? Looks from their positioning, it's going to be into team A. Are they going to go for early? Here come the grenades. Landing. shox is down to 9 HP. He's only a bullet away from death, but SmithZz has the good spray control. Picking off karrigan. The bomb's been dropped in upper, though, just outside of the bathroom. This is pretty big for TQM. And also, Deva just comes from behind, lands the headshot in Scream. He's gone from bad to worse for Titan there, just about holding on. But remember, they've got a couple players that are low. And now those 2 players remain.
There's going to be one of the 2 shut down. shox, the last one here, almost lighting up Deva, but gives Deva all the time he needs to pull out his gun and finish it off himself. Very well played by TQM. And just like that, they're right back into this game. As unfortunately for Titan, this close to gaining that lead once more, but they are going to lose it. However, a nice amount of money was still left over from this, so they're still going to be able to go for another full buy here. And TQM, at the same time, is also still going to be in a very high-pressured situation. Those that weren't able to survive the previous round are still going to be in a good spot, but for the 3 others that had to go for the full rebuy this time, they're very, very low on money. So if Titan strike right back now, then TQM are immediately going to have to probably go for another save if they don't decide to just force up with, like, 2 rifles.
That's exactly it. And karrigan nearly eats enough grenade damage to die, but still on 29 HP. Still holding the close angle here outside of Ivy. He's got backup coming in as well in the form of cajunb. So if those 2 players, Scream and shox, decide to push this, it could very well be to their death. Bomb still dropped around team 8. So Titan not going to be pushing in anytime soon. But I feel like that confrontation, Ivy, could very well make or break this round.
They've got that forward position placed in there by karrigan now, but they are going to leave him alone to sort of act as an early warning system. cajunb's moved in a little bit further. We can hear the fire coming out there now. A bit farther away, but Titan is still playing this very, very slowly now, which is It's a little bit more unlike them from their CT side. Is RPK investigating. He's gone down to the ladder room. No one close enough from TQM to have noticed that just as of yet. But also at the same time, no one from TQM has decided to get aggressive back over here towards B and try to see that. So this is going to be, again, it's going to be very easy to see this once it starts, but they have no clue that this play is actually coming into it. Thankfully, very lackluster amount of smokes on as they work their way into the site. So that's going to be a first easy kill that comes back out there from the CTs. Devin picking that one up. That is responded to by Existence as he works his way back in, and then Scream picking up an additional one, trying to finish off Deve too. They've completely lit him up, and he's going to be shut down now. karrigan finding one through that smoke as it starts to fade, but then SmithZz trades this one out too. It's just dupreeh left alive, and he has no choice but to retreat and save.
Wow, you almost foreshadowed this at the beginning of the round, Blue, when he said that if Titan can win this round, TQM are back into turmoil, economically speaking. That seems to be the case here. dupreeh's not going to get onto that site. He does have a defuse kit, but only 18 HP. It's not worth trying for. And so Titan, again, pull themselves back to a 2-round deficit. That's going to hurt TQM. Or are they going to go for the Eagles again is the question in the back of my mind, because we've seen them do it consistently. Maybe this is the moment when they realize, okay, we can't afford to risk anything anymore. Looks like dupreeh should be able to save this M4, unless he peeks back up to his right-hand side, which is where shox is waiting. shox has spotted him now. He's going to be okay. The bomb just exploded.
As soon as he sees him, he's like, nope, I'm not going to challenge that. As soon as he doesn't get him on the first peek, which is smart, because, again, look at the money here now. They can actually go for a force and have 3 rifles with it. So by saving that, they have made this make a lot more sense. And obviously, this is a lot more sensible to be doing this with 3 rifles instead of the 2 that they would have had. And honestly, wouldn't really have been the best course of action had they done this before. So this is their last attempt, though, because this is emptying out everything they have for the most part. Titan, at the same time, are trying to rebuild their own, and they've used a lot of utility at the beginning of this round, but as you can see, they still have a lot left over. But now pressing forward, they're completely blind. You can see the back B halls. dupreeh doesn't want to take the risk on it, though, as he doesn't believe he's flashed them as heavily as he has. So Titan's players, 2 of them are lucky to be alive at this point, and for the rest on TQM, they've fallen back, but this still yields a 1-man advantage to Titan after this trade starts.
cajunb gets the drop on shox. Tries to push past the green train. RPK with the double spray down. Very nicely done. He does get sprayed down, I should say. It's cajunb who gets the double spray down. Extremely well played. And now Scream could be next on the chopping block. He's going to push right by. cajunb's positioning was absolutely on point, but now it's down to SmithZz. He does narrowly miss out on that first shot. The bomb's planted for him. It's going to be defused from dupreeh right here, right now. 2 seconds, 1 second. It's going to get defused. And not too much that SmithZz could do about that. I suppose on the bright side, at least SmithZz will save that AWP coming through into the next round and allow them to buy up again. But TQM do somehow salvage yet another round. I think they should be able to buy here. I feel like they should, yeah. AKs will be dropped to the rest of his team. They are going to have a deagle only on existence, but double AWPs picked up.
This is like such a close economy battle between both of these teams too, because like honestly for almost this entire half after they got their initial build up after like the first set of anti-ecos and what have you, like both of these teams have almost been buying every single round, and both of these teams have been on the edge of being out of money for the most part almost every single round, but they haven't done it. And take a look at this interestingly from SmithZz. He has like all the time in the world he needs to take down cajunb, but he decides not to do it, and what a mistake this is, as now he's decked down to 9 HP as he's hit head on with a grenade.
A lot of players in Titan are circling the drain right now. Not far away from death. That flashbang is perfectly placed. Scream decides to jump through the smoke. The cajunb simply was not expecting that. When you're in these kind of situations, when you're low on HP and you have to make the desperate plays, I mean, that really is what you're looking for. Someone to step up. I said before that Scream was having a rough first half, but now he's starting to pick things up again. SmithZz gets boosted, lands the shot into Deva. Big kills for Titan, but still, with a couple players low, and 3 M4s in the hands of TQM, they could still salvage this.
And now for SmithZz here. He's going to wait for the push back out now. The rest of TQM, as we can see, are starting to get a little bit more aggressive to hopefully hold this back up. It's actually amazing that, like, despite finding 2 of these kills, Titan have not just decided to, like, all right, we've got enough wiggle room. Let's decide to go for this as of yet. They're holding it back. Now the molly comes in. They're going to use this as momentum, but karrigan, he's not expecting Scream to jump right out from that. And Scream, holy crap, running back out there, finds karrigan and dupreeh. Xyp9x does trade out 1 more, but he's very quickly handled by Existence. And there's another one now being picked up by Titan. It's traded back and forth and back once again. And I think we finally reached an apex point here where one of these teams is just out of money. And I think for TQM, they're going to have to make the choice to save here. Deve still has 3.5k, so he could force up to a certain degree, but for the rest of his team, it's really not a valid option. And I think that's just going to negate the 3.5k advantage that he has.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we do have more technical issues with it seemingly like TQM is having issues with the server. Spiking, just general lag problems.
Oh, SmithZz too. Holy crap. SmithZz is at like 140 ping right now.
Yeah, so it looks like we are going to be switching servers. I'm not sure what that means for a delay here, Lou. If we're going to be waiting a while or not.
I think it depends more on how quickly they're able to change our relay than anything. Because I don't think the players... It looks like the players already have like a new server. But...
Okay.
The question is, will they remember to change our relay? Because they almost forgot to do that at the beginning of the set.
Yeah, it'd be a bit awkward if we had to just sit here and like look at HLTV.
This new train map looks pretty good, doesn't it? But I imagine we'll be able to match by to get everything back to where it was. May take a few minutes though, as you were saying. So I'll leave this decision up to you because I've tortured you enough, and it's kind of my choice. But do you want to put on music, or do we want to talk about random things for another like 5 to 10 minutes?
Dude, I'm English, so typically we're like, it's your decision. We can't make decisions.
It's not fun. We can watch this. We can watch these two bots go at each other.
That
never mind. It's paused. No,
that sounded kind of kinky. I don't know. Did it? Is that just me? I'd pay to see two bots go at it on CS. On CS, obviously.
That's some Japanese level crap right there, man.
Damn.
All right. Well, it looks like they changed the relay pretty quickly, so we might not have to turn up the tunes. And we should be able to resume it pretty quickly. However, the good news of all these delays and routing issues and what have you is that we're probably not going to have a very big break at all between this match and the grand finals. Because actually, looking at the time right now, if I can convert time to European time correctly, I think the grand finals were supposed to start in like 15 minutes. Obviously,
correct,
that's not happening unless TQM like finishes off this map really quickly, which I don't think is going to happen. But yeah. So that actually puts us sort of back on track, and we're not going to have like an hour and 20-minute break like we did last time. Which kind of stinks, because I think I have McDonald's in the other room, but...
Oh, cold fries, man.
They've been there for a while, man. I might go grab them now, to be honest.
The worst in the world.
But we are loading into the new one now. It's not on Dust. It just always says that. And I believe this is our new server, so we're just waiting for it to catch up to us. I think there's about a 2-minute delay on it. And as soon as it is, I'm going to guess that they're able to migrate the game state pretty easily, and then we'll get started.
There we go. Players starting to appear.
Woo!
Yeah, you're right. It was scheduled to start in about 10-15 minutes, but obviously it's not going to happen because the winner of this progresses through to the grand finals. They may even take like a 10-15 minute break just to kind of relax for a little bit, so I'm not sure what the break will be like, but...
I need a McDonald's break.
Part of that, I feel, is just due to the fact that we had a sick first map that went into overtime and went all the way to the end of overtime as well. First map took quite a while. We had quite a few pauses as well, actually. I think we've had like 10 or so pauses.
Yeah, it's been because of the routing stuff, unfortunately. Okay, so now it looks like this is like a play-by-play of the admin's job. You get to see it firsthand here. So it looks like the Faceit admin has to manually reset the rounds. Which, by the way, he's now in the game, so I'm not sure what kind of magic he's going to do, but yeah.
I think it was 12:10 before we had the server issues. And from memory, TQM were onto an eco round more than likely, as they just lost the previous round. So
TQM have a choice of eco rounding. Like they could. Pardon me. They could still force up with light weapons, like they could do like a mag 7. They could do like a mag 7 or shotgun sort of thing on quite a few of their players. Only one player, which I think is Deva, is the only guy that's in like a good enough position to be able to afford like a rifle, like a FAMAS, I should say, and he won't have a lot of utility sitting behind that. The rest of the guys, I would say like 2 or 3 of the others are in positions to do force up with pistols and have like a smoke and a molly or something of that regard. But for the rest of them, they're way too low. So more than likely, if they're smart about it, because they still have an okay lead, they're probably just going to make a choice to full save, and considering they're not like rock bottom in terms of their money, they should be able to force buy after that one, and they'll be at a decent point.
All right then, sweet. Well, we are still waiting for Alchemist, the admin, to get himself sorted with the rounds and money and such. Could take a little while.
Do you want to answer your Twitter questions?
Most of them were directed to both of us.
Are they?
So I guess I can ask you some of them.
Let's do this.
Let me find where they are.
This won't be a mistake at all.
Well, I'll obviously skip the ridiculous questions.
Why?
Well, the ones that we literally can't answer because, you know, it's got bad words in them.
Why are we skipping the ridiculous ones? It's always good to read the ridiculous ones because then you can make fun of the people that tweeted them at you. I'm not sure if you're into that sort of thing, but
Well, it's like literally a question. Okay, boobs or ass then. Go on. Answer. You asked for it. I said they're ridiculous.
I thought they were gonna be like telling us we were bad
No,
casters and.
No. Boobs or ass. You got to answer the question now.
I'm an ass man.
You asked for it. Okay, sweet.
What's your answer?
Boobs, definitely.
Here we go.
What tilts you the most in CS? What you like biggest pet peeve? What grinds your gears the most
if
when
we're
you're
playing
playing?
MM, people that are smurfing and bragging about it, or normally people that are just like bragging about stuff in general. I hate people that show off, especially like in team comms.
It's normally the guys. Well, I noticed that when you're playing against a team and some guy's being a douche in chat, it's normally the guy's bottom fragging. Like he's being carried like by guys 40.
Oh, and then he types in chat, I'm smurfing. My main is like global elite master, like a rank that doesn't even exist or something like that. And it's like absolute bullcrap. Because you look at it and that's like the smurf has like 1,600 hours or something like that. It's like he's really committed to that smurf, man.
I think what tilts me the most is people that talk all the time on their mic when you're trying to clutch.
Oh my god.
Honestly, it's the worst thing in the world.
If
you're dead, shut up.
I've nothing against younger people playing Counter-Strike, but like when I'm trying to clutch and there is like someone who is under 13 years old trying to tell me what to do, no. I have a voice bind, or I have a key bind for voice enable 0 just for that situation. Where it's like, nope, this is gonna throw me off. I don't want it right now. I just need to get rid of it for this next 30 seconds.
Do we know each other in real life? No. We've never met each other in real life.
We've never met each other. I hope we will get the opportunity to.
Likewise, but no, we do not, to answer that question from Original Husky. We already answered that question, Travis King, what we think about Stewie2K joining Cloud9. I think we're both in agreement that we're going to watch that space. We think he's got a lot of potential, but it's hard to really call one way or another how he's going to do until we see him playing with C9.
Yeah, just to reiterate my answer too, is like I think it's a bit of a change in that like C9 when they're on their last round of pickups when they went for Skadoodle and Freak, it seemed like they wanted to go for like fairly well-established players, whereas this time they're hoping to pick up like a younger talent and sort of bring him up essentially with the guidance of the other four, which makes perfect sense to me, especially with the promise he's shown on some of the premier rosters he's played on.
Yeah, if you can mold a player into kind of what you need, then that sometimes is actually better than picking up a player who's already set in his ways. So I can definitely see where you're coming from.
There may be other benefits to that too, but those are things you don't talk about on the stream.
True that. If you have any questions, that's pretty much all the questions. The rest of them are just random like comments. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw them out. Or if you want to ask any more, guys, our Twitters are at the top. Just we'd answer them from Twitch chat directly, but it's going so fast that it's kind of hard to read the questions, you know? Yes. Who's the most famous CSGO player you've ever met? I guess like for me it's probably Pasha.
Hold on, here's one. Who's the most well-known CSGO player on your Steam friends list?
On my Steam's wow.
That you have played a game with at least once. It doesn't have to be CS, but that you've played like any game with.
I need to check my friends list now. I don't think I have that many pros on my friends list. I typically just play with friends, to be honest.
You're not repping?
Nah, I'm not cool enough.
I have Pit on mine.
Damn, sell out.
Played H1Z1 with him a couple times. He's a very crazy H1Z1 player. Fun fact. Like you think he'd just be like this like reserved person that like doesn't really get crazy, but he's kind of like a sociopath when he's playing H1Z1. Especially when he's driving vehicles. It's kind of scary, to be honest.
That was not where I was expecting that conversation to go. Yeah, he's just a sociopath.
Yeah.
So don't get in a car with him, basically. Let's have a look. That's the questions. What was the most memorable CSGO match you've casted, Blue? That's a pretty good question from Slappy Happy Green. I'd imagine it's one of the recent events you've done, because you've started to do like big events in NA, haven't you?
I think it was probably the. I think it was LG versus TQM actually was probably the most memorable match so far that I've casted. That was at the SLUC Pro League.
So that was a pretty big match, though, in fairness. So,
like, the most fun I've ever had, though, and this is gonna be like completely random, is I don't even remember the teams because it was during the World Championships. That was like that tournament that was run at Hitbox that had the countries playing instead of the players. But the most fun I ever had while casting was casting a semifinal in that tournament simply because there was a crowd. And I love casting when there's a crowd. Like, it's so much fun.
yeah.
Just because, like, you feel like you control, like, the emotions of, like, 400 or 500 people at a time. And it's like, you can make them cheer if you, like, elevate your voice. It's like this really powerful feeling. That was the most fun I ever had while casting. But
I just love the energy of casting with a crowd there. Like,
crazy.
when you're casting from home, it's kind of like you're in a comfortable scenario. You can, chill in your shorts and t-shirt or whatever. Or cast naked. I'm not going to judge you, Blue. But personally, I just like sit here and just chill. When you're in front of a crowd, like it adds a whole new dynamic to the entire casting experience. What are your guys' matchmaking ranks, out of curiosity? I'm Supreme Master First Class. I was global, and after the ranking shift, I got dropped to LEM, and then I played a couple games, got back up to SMFC. So I don't know. Right now, I don't think it's necessarily a fair representation. I don't really play that much matchmaking, to be fair. How about you, Blue?
I will abstain from answering that question.
All right, Silver confirmed.
Dude, there are people. I was streaming one time, okay, and someone literally came into my chat and asked me why am I allowed to cast when my MM rank is that low. Like, that was a legitimate thing. Like, he wasn't trolling. Like, he was actually asking me this question.
I would say,
like,
this is.
You want to know what rank I was when I casted my first game of CS?
Go on.
I was Silver 2.
Dude,
when I casted my very first game of CS, which is still on YouTube somewhere, I think. It was like a because my first gig casting CS was with Sivo, and I basically sent them stuff from my last game that I casted, and like a quick random MM game that I casted that was on the menu for live games, and that one was horrible. Like, looking back on it now, but yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think rank
I'm a
doesn't
lot
necessarily
higher
mean
than
that
Silver
much.
2, just for disclosure. But yeah.
Silver 3 repping beast.
Yes, absolutely.
For those of you wondering as well, we're answering questions and not casting. We had to switch servers. The admins are currently working on fixing the server, so it's at the same position that we left off. So if you're wondering why we're just talking amongst ourselves about random stuff, we're answering questions on Twitter. Next question. Let's have a look.
There is one question that both of us can answer that would either make the chat hate us or love us.
Damn, I love it.
I don't know if I want to ask it, though. It's like a dangerous question to ask.
Do
you know what question this is?
Nope.
It involves a recent event.
That doesn't necessarily help me. Just ask it. If they hate me,
it involves Valve.
I'll feed off their tears. I'm ready. My body's ready, Blue.
Okay.
Hit me.
Do you actually want to answer this question in front of 58,000 people?
Do it. Why not?
What is your opinion on the iBuyPower thing?
Brilliant. Oh, God.
See? Yeah. It's not as good now that you know what it is it?
Okay. I'm a pretty straightforward guy. People that know me know that's true, so I'm going to leave my honest opinion. I think if you screw the integrity of the game, you deserve to get banned. However, do I think a lifetime ban is just? No. I feel like maybe that's too harsh. So I wasn't a fan of it, but I can still understand why Valve came to that conclusion. That's my very simple answer, which would probably still get people to hate me. But there you go.
All right, I'll answer it. Fair enough. I agree with the lifetime part. I don't agree with taking a year to tell them it's lifetime.
Okay, yeah, I can see that logic as well.
Because for anyone that was waiting around, so I don't okay, so for people like Steel and Dazed, they're doing fine streaming. So I don't think it's they're not. I don't think they're very. They'll be fine. Essentially, is the fact they want to compete. That's okay, but yeah, I agree with the lifetime thing on it. However, for people that that had a possible chance of getting back in and they weren't doing other things to make revenue and trying to make themselves full-time in CS from that, and we're hoping they would get unbanned after a year, and then for them to be told that they would be banned permanently after that, that's the part I don't agree with. If they just outright told them they were going to be banned permanently from the start, then they could have moved on with their lives.
I see where you're going with that. So they didn't hang around for a year to basically be told later on, okay, it's done.
Yeah.
I guess I just find it a bit harsh because there's definitely other people who've thrown games. definitely, without doubt.
Let's-
They've had hackers who've been allowed back in the game as well.
Yeah.
So
I
for
don't
me, it's
agree.
a bit
I don't
harsh.
agree with hackers being allowed back in either, to be honest. Like, I don't know if that's a thing. Like, I'm still very, because people talked about that too. That's another thing that, like, I think is happening. I don't really know how that pans out, but I don't agree with that either. Like, I think if you hack, you should be like permanently blacklisted from the professional scene.
Damn, Blue's he's ruthless.
Yeah.
You know about the whole sociopath thing, right? Full circle.
I mean, come at
I'm
me.
not getting in the car with you anytime. I know that
Come
much.
at me, man. I'm sure.
Do you love me? Of course we do, Josh. We love everyone,
Who's
especially
Josh?
Twitch chat. Who's Josh? That's not very nice.
I don't. Wait. Who is this? Wait, which Josh is this?
Josh JA on Twitter. I don't
Oh.
know him either, but I still love him. McDonald's or Burger King? Well, I think that Blue's already answered that question. He's got a chill, cheeky Mackie D's next door to him.
I could
think
just
he
go
said.
get that right now, to be honest.
You probably should before they get too cold.
It's probably already frozen. I mean, I just could go. I don't even know what I got, to be honest. It's probably chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets, though.
They're very good, man.
They are, indeed. What do you think about Simple joining Liquid, Blue? On your home turf, of course, in NA.
I don't know, to be honest. That's basically. We may actually be getting started here, by the way, from what's being said in the comments. But anyway, I'm not gonna dodge the question. I feel like if Simple is really like trying to change himself, then it could go really well. But the problem is he's going to want to stick around when like things with Liquid continue to be unstable. One of the things I noticed with Liquid, this actually may be better for him too. Like especially when I was like ESL ESA Pro League, when you watch Liquid compared to when you watch like some of the other NA teams play, like Liquid actually gets like pretty like angry, like just in terms of how they're speaking to teammates and whatnot. Like you could, because we were sitting when we were doing stuff on the analysis couch and whatnot, we could like actually hear the players, especially if they were getting loud. And like Liquid, when you compare them specifically like to like Conquest and whatnot, we're getting like really loud. Like you know, blame each other, like, oh, stop doing this, stop doing that, and it was like very commanding when you compare it to some of the North Americans. And you expect like all North Americans to be these like very like brutal, very demanding teams, but that's not the case for quite a few of the rosters. But with that sort of demanding playstyle, if that helps Simple simply because he is that type of person, then that could boost his potentiality, especially if you know he's moving away from Europe now, and with NA being a little bit more chaotic, I guess you could say, in the communication. That could help with that. I know that everything I've said probably doesn't make a lot of coherent sense, but I'm very bad at explaining things. So,
No, I get where you're going with that. I think Simple's the kind of guy, he's known and renowned for having attitude problems, but as you say, he's trying to change himself. When I casted him at Cluj-Napoca qualifiers, he's actually quite animated with his reactions, like facially, like shrugging and sighing and sulking sometimes. And that would absolutely do my... I was going to say something there. Do my tits in, what I was going to say. It's an English term, deal with it, sorry. It would really annoy me, basically, if I was sat next to him and he was doing that. So if he continues that through with Team Liquid, I could see there being issues. But what I'm hoping is that the move across to NA will mature him anyway. Because, you know, it is a pretty big upheaval. The guy is still young. So going across to NA and, you know, joining with Liquid and stuff, that may very well change his outlook on how he performs and how he kind of approaches coming into professional CS. I hope it does, because the guy is so talented. It's never been a question of is he good enough. It's a question of is he there mentally? Because if he is, dude is unstoppable.
sorry, I just realized I had like 70 Twitter notifications. I'm like reading all this stuff.
No, it's all good. Have you ever wanted to play for a pro team? Yes, but I'm too old now. I'm an old man, basically a granddad. Not literally a granddad, but yeah, kind of.
How do you get into casting? That's a good one there. I think they're still sorting out the ping and whatnot, so we have a few more moments.
They're also sorting out the economy as well.
Would you want to answer that question first, then I'll answer it? 'Cause I think my story is a little bit more interesting. My story is a little bit more different, I think, is how I got into CS casting.
What a douchebag! This blue guy.
I'm so bad at explaining myself.
You know, if we meet, I'm gonna fight you, mate.
I just
Fight
made
you at
myself
LAN.
sound like I've had a much better
No,
career
you're
than
actually
you.
right.
No.
I used to play other games to high level. I started casting back in the early CODs when it actually required skill. So I've been casting for 6 or 7 years at this point. And basically, I started off as like an analyst, and I just kind of worked my way up. It's a very boring story, but I would say if you want to get into casting right now, There's a lot of means to do so. Go watch professional game demos from the previous majors and stuff. Record yourself casting, upload it to YouTube, and then send it to companies, you know? Maybe not necessarily the top companies like a DreamHack or whatever, but send it to the lower down companies that maybe are hosting small weekly tournaments and just get your foot in that way and progress up. You will get noticed if you're solid enough. So that's my advice, really, in a nutshell.
So thankfully for me, my process, I think, was... trying to think of the correct word for this. I think escalated, or I don't know. My process of like sort of being given opportunities was like sped up quite a bit because I had met some very friendly people when I was still in my last game, and when they heard that I wanted to jump over to CS, like without really having a lot of experience, I think people were like giving me opportunities. I know like most people won't have that. I think that's like something that can really help you though, is just trying to, like I said, trying to reach out to those companies and gaining relationships and whatnot. I think there is a lot of opportunities for lower tier casting at some of the local lands and whatnot too, especially at events like Frag and Elfie and whatnot. If you live in that area, I know that they're always looking for talent and whatnot to help out, and that could be a nice springboard for you because quite a few like mid to mid high tier North American teams show up to that one. But just finding that and then building off of that, and through that, like regardless of what the event is or how low it is, you'll often meet someone who may be interested in bringing you in through another event, and then that process just changed itself over and over again. That's how it worked out for me anyway.
That's solid advice, yeah. Try and get to your local places and build yourself up. Constantly practice. Do it for the love of it. You're not going to get paid for a very long time. Don't do it for the money, honestly. Like, I'm not just saying this. Like, honestly, don't do it for the money. It took me like 5 or 6 years before I saw any money at all from casting, and even then it was small. So do it for the love and the passion of the game. That's really the best advice that I could give anybody.
Same story for me. I've been casting for about 3 years, and I've been doing CS for I think 9 or 10 months now. And I went for about 2.5 years before I ever received a paycheck for casting.
Yeah.
So
indeed.
Don't do it for the money. Don't do anything in esports for the money. To be completely honest.
There's not much money to be had.
Yeah.
Overall.
Well, depends.
At the very top, then
there is,
obviously,
but it's hard
on
to
the
get
way
to
the
that
top.
point, yeah.
It's like an iceberg. Most of the people that are below the surface get nothing, and then the very top percent, like, you know, make money. Watching your stream, and it's outstanding. Thanks, dude. How long did it take for you to get to MG1? You what, mate? I'm Supreme Master. Oh, is he asking? Did you say that you were MG1 Blue? You didn't say what rank you were.
I think I'm MGE right now. The highest I've ever got is DMG. I'm trying to remember if I'm MG2 or MGE right now, because like the new distribution like screwed me over, and I think I went down to MG2. I don't know if I got back up as of yet. Took me to get to MG1 though. I think it took me like 2 months ever since from like when I actually started taking the game seriously. Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
It took me. I played a lot with friends when I was playing originally in ranked, and I don't normally play ranked. I normally play like ESCA, Face It, Civo, stuff like that. Took me a few months to get to global. And now I'm down to SMFC after the changes, but I haven't played matchmaking actively in a few days, so I could probably get back to global pretty fast. But it's a grind, right? And matchmaking tilts me so much. I get so emo when playing matchmaking. It makes me such a sad panda. We're nearly ready, I think, though, so we can stop waffling on here, Blue.
I think we just have to get TQM's money in the right spot.
And then we're good to go.
Actually,
apologies for the delays, guys. Lots of lag issues have kind of brought us to this position. I think I saw MBK put on Twitter, like, so when are we going to play? Yeah, I can imagine that being frustrating for the Envy boys right now. As indeed it will be for these teams as well. Like, no one wants to sit around waiting.
Just have to give dupreeh his money, I think. Oh, there's a gun on the ground. Okay, that's not good. Oh, it's just a USB. It's not that big of a deal. This is a very complex process. Like, now that you think about this,
yeah,
I didn't actually think that like that was like, well, you know, it makes sense now that you realize it. But it's like, they can't just like give him specific guns and stuff. I don't think you can actually do that. Like, you can't just like spawn a gun midair.
I kind of foolishly thought when one of the players asked, like, can we just move the files over? And the admin was like, yeah, sure. I foolishly thought, okay, that's a 20-second job. Nope. Apparently not.
I honestly thought it was going to take like 5 minutes max. This has been at least 10 minutes.
Favorite skin and favorite gun, Blue.
I don't really like do the skin thing. Like, can I see them from here? I think I'd have to leave the game to see them. Right? No, I can see my inventory from in-game.
Yeah, you can use the Steam overlay and stuff.
There we go. All right, this is my inventory. I don't really have that many things.
Are you showing them on stream?
Yeah, like they can see it. They can see it.
Okay.
I've actually never even tried to pull up the screen again before. I just have a bunch of stickers for the most part. That's like that's all I have. I don't really like that's my only knife. Yeah. This is like a battle scarred, so it's not worth anything. That's it. This is like my most valuable weapon. Is my This is actually not my most valuable weapon, but still. This is the weapon I like the most because I put a bunch of happy stickers on it and it's a smiley face. So I felt that was funny, but it's really not. So that's it. that's my inventory. 9 out of 10.
My favorite weapon is 5.7. I have no idea why. I just love it. I often will use it instead of an assault rifle. And favorite skin for the 5.7, monkey business, because why not?
Happy fanboy.
Confirmed. Bias caster.
I like Envy, dude. They're fun to watch.
If you could cast a match with a pro, who would you want to cast with? That's a good question again from Slap Pappy Green. He's got those questions on point, man.
With a pro or of a pro?
With.
Oh.
So if you had to duo cast with a pro player, who do you want to cast with?
Sean, because he's already done it.
Yeah, I'd say Pasha just for the lols, to be honest. But yeah, Sean's a good shout.
I think someone posted this on Reddit a while ago. It'd be fun if like it probably wouldn't be as entertaining as I'm imagining in my head, but I would like to see like a show match done at a major or something like that, where it's like the players act as the analysts and the casters, and the casters like play like a show match.
Yeah, I can
So
get
you have
behind
like people like Pasha and Flusha like casting the game, and then like all the casters. Because normally you have like at a major you have around like 10 casters. You could do a quick 5-on-5. You could do like you could do a fairly short game. But anyway, now we're getting really off topic. So it looks like the match has actually begun again, and I believe this is correct. So let's get back to it, folks. We do apologize for the momentum breaking stuff, but the routing problem has been a very real thing, I think, for both teams here. So we want to make sure that that is set in this matchup from as fair as possible. I'm going to start this one off. As we can see, looks like the members of Titan having very good control of it because TQM are on that eco, of course. For the most part here, Titan just sweeping through this with TQM not really being able to resist it that much at all.
And you've got to wonder how this is going to impact the players after such a huge delay. And it seems it hasn't bothered Titan too much. They're just going right through. And have just wrecked TQM. Dupreeh with the only weapon remaining, and indeed the only weapon really going into this round. He isn't able to save it, and Titan will take this one down. I do wonder, if Titan were to take this map, what happens to the final? Do you think it would still be played tonight? Because that would be getting into like seriously late. Maybe not for you in NA, but for these players, that would be getting seriously late into the night.
They just asked that in our Skype chat. I think one of the other multilingual casters just asked that. So I'm assuming we'll get an answer. Like I said, if TQM win this map, then yeah, we will, because it's only going to be probably like 30-40 minutes after time, but we may end up moving the finals to tomorrow if we have to go to a third map here. So
yeah, I'll keep an eye out on chat.
We'll come back
for you
to
guys.
that once we have an actual answer.
So I'll keep an eye on the Skype chat for you and the viewers as well. Double up setup for Titan. I was wondering if this would come in on train. SmithZz and shox have both picked the AWPs up for themselves. SmithZz is going to be using it back in Ivy. No, sorry, pardon me, not back in Ivy, that's karrigan. SmithZz is going to be using the AWP right now to push out a team main and has picked up the first frag. You see my brain's gone as well with these delays.
We're just
Either
done
way,
now, man.
TQM, yeah, like all momentum's just out of me at this point. TQM have conceded the first frag, and we were talking before about their economy. This is very dangerous territory right now. Titan could easily get back into this.
So SmithZz, of course, is barely surviving his own encounter. He's down at 1 HP now. And he's going to get pressure, too. However, that doesn't stop him. He's going to be able to shut down cajunb, finding another pickup. A little bit careful there. His existence is rolling back. There's not going to be enemies in that quarter of the map, but so they're picking them off one by one. And we've seen this before from Titan 2, where they find like 2 or 3 kills at the beginning. They're still taking it very slowly because they don't exactly know what to expect in terms of the defenses. They've been very passive, and all these kills have come from SmithZz just getting over aggressors from the CT side. So they're still very blind in terms of what they expect from the site. But in they go now. They're going to take or try to take control. And for the most part here, TQM has already abandoned it in hopes of it being an inner push. That's going to be a big mistake, and now Titan are going to get the free plant.
You know, I wonder with their economy as it is, were they actually stacking up with the idea of just trying to save these weapons? Did they pretty much give up A on purpose to try and save, knowing the chances of retaking without any diffuse kits or nades was very low, and this now gives them a chance to maybe fighting back in round 25? I feel like it is, they did set up for that save kind of preemptively. As you say, if it's an inner push then onto B, they've got the chance to then fend it off. So it's kind of like, we're going to save, but if on the off chance they push B, we can potentially win this round. Either way, TQM looking to try and save these three M4A4s. That's a mouthful. SmithZz needs to be careful on 1 HP that he doesn't get killed by the bomb. He's far away enough for T-spawn that he should be fine. And Titan do pick up yet another round here.
And thankfully with TQM saving 3 of those rifles, actually, no, we're probably, depends on how they want to play this right now too, because they could still technically try and drop something over, but I don't think actually any of them are going to be in a reasonable enough position to try and do that. So they're going to have to just use these 3 rifles for what they have, and for the other guys, just a couple pistols here and there. dupreeh invests in a PT-50, and cajunb doesn't buy anything at all. So this is actually getting into a very, very rough shape for TQM, but thankfully, because of the fact that they were taking this as a full save, regardless of the outcome of this round or how many are able to save and or die, we should still be looking at a fairly confident buy coming up in the next round regardless. But Xyp9x starts it off strong, shuts down RPK, responds with a second one too, takes out Existence. Just getting tagged on his way back down the ramp, and right now, TQM with that aggressive movement holds very good control of this round.
Yeah, very impressively. Xyp9x gets 2 frags and survives. You're expecting an avenging frag to come out from Titan. They have typically struggled with that all night so far, the avenging frag aspect. SmithZz gets the kill onto Xyp9x, but again he's dropped down to 1 HP. So good on him to get the kill, but maybe it's not going to be enough here. The bomb dropped in upper for the time being, but it is a safe drop. Scream can get back to that at any moment. Well, I spoke before about how low SmithZz was. He gets finished off by that USP. Scream's been spotted by karrigan. Will back away, pick up that bomb. His teammate is on E-box, gets caught from behind from Deva. And honestly, that probably is going to be all over for Titan here in round 25. Barring a miracle from Scream, if you can even get the bomb planted, that would be a pretty solid result from here. Too long to wait to try and save this AK-47, so he's going to have to try and maneuver himself into position to get some kills.
And Scream, as you mentioned before, he's going to give himself away now. They should realize where he's pushing in from. And they've got him boxed out too, so he'll work his way in. If he is able to connect this shot over on the dupreeh, there's a very small chance he can at the very least get the bomb down and get some extra money, but that's not going to be happening. Thankfully, dupreeh along with Cajun handle that very, very well, taking him down before any more trouble comes in. And again, similarly to actually a play we saw in the last map too, he's left with no choice there. They had him boxed in. They could have pushed him after the timer expired. It's not worth the risk of running out of cash. Just go, die, get the dying money. You don't want to lose that much cash.
Is this going to be another pause? Yes.
Oh my god.
I would, you know, someone who's been watching since the start. If you've been watching since the start, by the way, I salute you.
I just realized how long we've been streaming for.
A long time, yeah. We've potentially got another best of 3.
I have had fun facts. I don't want to brag, but 6.5 hours stream, I haven't dropped a single frame. What's up?
The curse is real.
I know how to optimize, and now someone's gonna DDoS me, and
yep.
or
and your PC's gonna explode.
I will start completely. Yeah, my PC's gonna blow up. One of those two.
If someone could tally up how many pauses we've had today, who've been here from the start, I will be forever in your debt.
I think this is somewhere between 4 and 6 now.
It's been quite a few, and often it hasn't just been like a quick pause and we're done. It's like been 10-15 minute pauses, which is why we were reading out the questions earlier, because we kind of ran out of things to talk about 5 years ago.
We're just talking about anything that comes to our heads at this point.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Vinny Birch asks Blue, let's see, what have you got for us? If you could join a team roster right now, what team would you join and who would you replace?
Who, me?
Yep.
I wouldn't join a team. I'm terrible.
Damn, that self-confidence, though.
I mean, mechanically, I'm awful at this game.
So that's Blue's answer.
I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, compared to the pros, I just get absolutely wrecked.
I probably would, dude. There's no doubt in my mind I would get destroyed.
Like, I'm an entry fragger, so maybe I could get away with a couple kills in every game.
You have a role Wait a second.
Yeah.
You have yourself defined to a role. Yeah, like I haven't even gotten that far yet. I just like do whatever someone isn't doing in MM matches to try and like make up for the gaps.
Man, I'm like all reaction speed, no brains. So yeah, rip against pros. SmithZz though with the opening pick. We are live again. And then the second one as well, but he actually charges across. They didn't expect the double stack. Completely catches them off. dupreeh nearly has the pixel perfect spray down for his double kill. Instead, though, he will get traded out. And now, with still a minute and 25 to play with, TQM find themselves on a 2-on-2.
They're taking it very, very slowly. The other thing, too, is they've got cajunb sitting very far back right now. So he's going to be a fairly long rotate away from this one. But the smokes and monitor coming in. Still no rotation from cajunb. And I hope... No, he's fine. Okay. It looked like he was out for a second there. But karrigan's patience pays off. And he is actually able to keep himself completely hidden for that entire time. Picks up the shot into RpK. And now in a minute here, we actually are going to have cajunb in the site itself. So shox, such a hard battle to win now. And he's boxed out. So he's stuck in the middle. This is going to have to be... This is like a split in bowling that he has to try and pull off for himself right now. But not looking good. Thankfully, he has a lot of time to play with this. Still has 40 seconds left on the clock. But... they're slowly locking him down into a position where he's really not going to be able to escape from. And if they both peek him at the same time, no way in hell he's going to be able to pick up both of those frags. But also needs to get that bomb down. Here he goes for it. Actually a pretty safe spot. So we'll see how well this plays out for him now.
And that flash didn't hit him either that was thrown out from from karrigan. So not only has he got the plant, but he's managed to maneuver himself back towards the CT side of the trains. And he does have a player coming up. He can hear that movement. karrigan peeks. Oh, he gets tagged but not fragged. That's pretty important. Goes into the second. Still can't get it. Finally does pick his man up.
He's gonna stick
the
this.
cajunb is just going to stick on the site right now. It's shox to call this one. He's coming around the corner. cajunb taking off. Oh, he's still going to get the frag and the defuse. Way too close for comfort though from TQA. But they will resume a 2-round lead.
You see that flash was tossed out there too in hopes of giving cajunb the room that was needed to just take him down before they even had to deal with that situation. But he just barely wins that clutch, and thankfully there's still plenty of time left to defuse that bomb. So TQM, similarly to our last map, just barely scraping by. And again now, both of these economies are at their bitter ends for the most part here. Take a look at Titan, completely out of cash. TQM, with the exception maybe 1 to 2 players, it's the same story, where they've run so low. But Titan at the same time here now, they're 2 rounds behind. So TQM will have a little bit of time to reestablish if it's broken after this one. Whereas if Titan lose this, that's basically going to be GG right there. It'll be a 2-0 from TQM. And we'll see the Danish team move on to the finals.
Well, Titan still standing tall in this round. SmithZz has the AWP, 21 for 15. He currently sits on 2 players at 23 frags for QT, Zipex and Deva. Very much a disciplined approach from both teams. No one really giving anything away just yet. No aggressive pushes. No scouting for information. And now it would appear that maybe shox is going to try and sell this fake onto A while the rest of his team aggresses on B. Here comes the set play. Scream and Existence will be taking point from upper. And they're going to get a very unprepared Zipex who was going up the ladder. I think he had a grenade out as well, so he's a dead man regardless. Deva has spotted the play before he gets flashbang. Just goes to the spray. He lands the frag. He's still flashed. It went right in his face. Second kill for him as well. Massive frags at the right moment. The bomb has been fragged though. Can they retake the site?
And now it's going to be the problem of pressing forward here. They don't really know for sure where these players are positioned at. There's a nice tap from cajunb. RpK responds to it. He's the big player right now, but he's going to get dinked down too. dupreeh moving in, that shuts him out. And shox racing to this site, but he's still in the back B halls with no utility to throw onto this bomb. If he had a molly right now, he could save his team, but it's not going to happen. karrigan closing it out. dupreeh already halfway through the defuse. And TQM, they're now going to set themselves up here now on match point.
So look at that economy. Well, it looks like Titan will be able to get some more AK-47s, and shox will be able to get an AWP and maybe drop it for SmithZz as well. So all hope is not lost just yet for Titan. But this is going to be a difficult climb to get back into overtime. We did see it from them in the last map. If you remember, overpass was 15-14. Obviously, this is a little bit more of a climb to come, but they know they can pull it back when it's backs against the wall. Let's see if that's going to be the case here. They need an entry frag desperately, and SmithZz has picked it up. shox does get traded out, however. And so the CT's going to focus. Existence keeps spraying through the smoke, expecting Zipex to push, and lands the shot. That could be a huge kill here for Titan. This could potentially keep them in this match.
What if we go to overtime again?
my beard will grow by an additional 3 inches, probably. Kappa.
And then we'll have 4 more pauses in the time of overtime. But
we'll be done at approximately 6 in the morning my time. It's all good.
They'll have another like 3 matches to play. We'll have to postpone this one. Anyway, there's gonna be Devi picking up another one there, dropping down existence, and Titan. I mean, this has been to go back onto a more serious note here for a moment. This has been the problem with Titan, is that they find these opening advantages, but they like don't do anything with it. They just sit back and they hope to be fed more by TQM. They're getting like way too greedy. They're not trying to really capitalize on any of these opening picks they get. And because of that, they give TQM so much time to regroup, reposition, and really figure out exactly what Titan's going to do. And at the end of the day, most of the times when they actually go for these takes, TQM are able to rotate inappropriately, and they just win it outright, even though it's possibly like a situation where Titan have 1 or 2 more players.
They do have the clarity.
There's another example.
To push together, but it's right out into a flashbang, and karrigan, it's easy pickings. Easy first frag, and look where the bomb structures as well, Blue. It's out in the open. SmithZz answered back. 2-on-2 now. RPK as well. Surely Titan can't drag this back out of the ashes. Surely this isn't possible. The bomb is about to get planted. No, it's not cajunb there, but the spray comes in from RPK, keeping Titan's dreams alive. 15-13.
Oh my goodness. They're still in this one too. And look at the money from TQM. They're going to force 2 players are going to be on FAMASas. 1 player is going to invest in an M4 and won't have any utility sitting behind it. Xyp9x actually decides to go for the Mag 7 again, so he's going to be playing himself pretty close to ramp. He has utility for it. 2 Mag 7s are now in this team. dupreeh, I'm guessing he's going to push up either to T-Con or like by E-Box or somewhere like that to try and play it up close. And he's heading towards E-Box right now, but I honestly, Titan just trying to go quick about this one and hope that they don't get shut down by that shotgun, because they've been playing so slowly and they've just been getting grinded for this entire half, unfortunately, because of this slow play they're using yet again in this round.
That's it, yeah. The main difference between teams like Titan and teams like VP is you'll often see VP just go hell for leather on A or B. Like, they just go for a fast push. Like, smokes will come over, they'll be right behind it. They'll go all-out aggression. We haven't really seen that from Titan thus far, except for maybe a couple of eco or pistol upgraded rounds. So it's a bit predictable right now from TQM. And typically Titan have played this slow style and maybe had a player going Ivy. They typically like to execute onto the B side, which is why you're seeing the bulk of TQM members over on B right now. Out of 5, 3 of them are there, albeit karrigan with an open connector, so he can easily rotate onto A if he so chooses. Oh, they peek up. The FAMAS isn't the perfect weapon for this kind of spray down, though. SmithZz is down to 46, and he has to respect the power. So he will be backing away. Time is still ticking down here, Blue. There's not a lot of time to play with. They have to make a decision. They have to follow through with it right here, right now.
Also, they have the potential of getting flanked by dupreeh with a Mag 7 too, which is not something they want to have to deal with. They're on the way in. There's Xyp9x now. Picks up the first kill with the Mag. Missing a second connection, but it doesn't matter. He's just able to make up for it. Tries to trade his gun, but ragdolled there by Scream. Now dupreeh. There's that flank that we were talking about before. He's able to take out 1 with the Mag 7. SmithZz coming in. He's going to find 2 for himself. That shotgun play is coming down right now, though, and he's actually traded it out for a rifle. So dupreeh has something more to work with, but he's only got 12 HP to pull it off. There's no utility left for the CT. SmithZz again with another shot, and now he's going to look for the final one here. He spotted him. He does fall. It's down to a 1 versus 1 now, and Scream has to play it up versus dupreeh, but he's not going to take the duel. Falls away, deciding if he wants to go for it or not. No, he's going to give it to Titan, and they're going to bring it up to 14-15.
SmithZz, you beast! The flick shots, especially the shot on upper, was disgusting. How does that even happen for Titan? And again, within 1 round of taking us to overtime, and dupreeh, rightfully in my opinion, decides to save instead. He pretty much taps out of the round, doesn't have a defuse kit, only 12 HP left. No chance in him clutching that out. But that really was SmithZz. We've said this consistently today. SmithZz has been the man for Titan. 26 for 18, not the greatest stats in the world, but very good. But it's been his impact kills in those kind of clutches, the entries that he's picked up as well that have been massive. And now TQM, again, they're going to have to revert back to a Mag 7, but this time it's going to be with a couple of pistols as well instead of M4. So this is really rough. Can Titan take us to overtime?
The money is in such a bad spot right now for TQM. However, keep in mind for Titan, they're not necessarily safe as of yet either. Existence, he doesn't have a rifle. He's got a deagle. So let's see how this plays itself out. But TQM, we're not seeing them play aggressively at all this time. They're all hanging back. RPK is actually waiting for these players to push back over here towards the White Halls in hopes of catching quite a few of them, but he's not going to do this. SmithZz taking some early damage, as does Scream, too, from an HE that was tossed back inside of T-Connector. So there's some good damage coming out from TQM early on in the round, but The real big test is going to be on these entries. Does it go by the way of Titan or does it go the other direction? And we actually see there too. karrigan tries to push out Ivy and shox picks it up there. That's probably one of the very few times Titan has won an opening duel in Ivy in this entire half so far.
That's it, yeah, exactly. And karrigan had to go for it with the 5-7. He felt pressured to look for that cheeky frag there. Maybe get a weapon. As it stands, it's a 1-4 trade. SmithZz is tagged. But still, with that AWP, all he needs is a small glimmer, and he'll convert that into a frag. RpK just looking. Maybe going to drop down into Pop Dog. SmithZz is on the prowl again. He's going to see dupreeh here. If he just looks up, he just saw a shoulder, but it's existence that gets the frag. shox comes in as well. It's suddenly down to just 2 players of TQM. We're on the brink of going to a third overtime. Second overtime. We nearly went into a second overtime in the first map. In this best of 3, Zipex has been picked off. It's all on cajunb. He's coming to T main. He's got a P250, but that's it. Titan should secure this up. Oh my goodness, TQM are going to be kicking themselves.
cajunb's the last one alive. He goes down to SmithZz. It's overtime on map number 2 here between Titan and TQM, guys. What happened? What turned around there to give the members of Titan what they needed to get back into this game? It was SmithZz. Look, again, didn't really have the best CT side, but on this T side, especially in these past, like, 2 or 3 rounds now, just been an absolute monster, and it's no surprise that we see him at the top of the scoreboard again in this map.
Players leaving the server, so I guess we're going to be
changing server again.
Trying to change again, yeah, for overtime. So
we also have the finals might still be played today, just to keep people in the loop as to what's going on. We're still waiting on that final decision, but there is a chance it might actually be played today, which will explain the reasoning for that if it does end up happening. Yeah,
there is a pretty solid reason why, to be fair. Although for the players, and obviously from the other cast as well, there are multiple language streams, by the way, for those of you that maybe don't want to watch the English stream and you want to watch German or Russian. I think there are language streams there for you. But for those guys, it's going to get pretty late fairly soon. Either way, we're going into overtime, and TQM, man, that was 15-12. I thought for sure they'd convert at least one of those rounds.
Yep, but it doesn't end up happening. TQM, the pressure gets to them. They end up getting shut down, and Titan just barely come back into that match. All right, so I do need a personal break for like 2 minutes. So I am going to turn up the tunes really fast. This is probably going to take at least 5 to 10 minutes to change the server again. So we'll be right back, guys. I'll keep the game on screen simply because we don't have another screen to show you. And as soon as we have the new server loaded in, or as soon as I return, we'll be back with this match. The continuation of Titan versus TQM here at the Red Dot Invitational. Be right back. back.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. I've got reheated McDonald's now.
Those fries.
I have to soak them in ketchup so they have any semblance of taste.
So do you just get chicken nuggets, or do you get a burger with it as well?
I got chicken nuggets.
Alright, okay.
It's actually not that bad. If you soak it in the ketchup, the fries this is, but...
You're making me hungry now.
I mean, I haven't eaten... I think the only thing I've eaten today is half a bagel, so... You gotta keep strong, man. Keep the lungs ready to rock and roll for casting.
I just came off a cold, so my voice is getting a bit wrecked right now.
A lot of people have been getting sick. Like
It's that time of year, though, isn't it?
I guess it is.
Oh, you said you're East Coast, right?
Yeah.
So I guess like the winters are pretty cold there as well, and on the West Coast not so much.
It's been weird this year. It's actually been a lot warmer than it should be. Global warming is a very real thing here on the East Coast.
It's freezing cold here today.
Well, that's just England in general, isn't it?
Oh yeah. True.
I've heard England just has like bad weather year round.
I mean, I live in the northeast near the coast, so it's even worse, I guess. Like super windy while being cold. So you go outside and it feels like you're about to literally freeze to death. But yeah, apart from that, it's all good. By the way, the reason why we're like just randomly rambling on is we're on warm up for the overtime. I think both teams are just trying to make sure this server's going to be all right for them.
Yep.
And when there's a share of 50k up for grabs, understandable they want to take their time to make sure the conditions are right.
Absolutely. I'm agreeing with you on everything you say.
Thanks, man.
I need to eat. I'm gonna brag about it. I love chicken nuggets.
So basically, Blue's been through a bit of a war. He only slept a couple of hours. He hasn't ate that much.
I've slept for, in the past 48 hours, I think I've slept for like 4 hours total.
Nice. It seems like everyone's AFK on Titan. Oh, actually, no, they're not. They're just running around with pistols. Come on, boys. Let's get this game done.
So
you can do it.
How do you feel that people think you're constantly Joe Miller? And/or Richard Lewis. I've seen it at least like 20 times in the chat today. Either a comment about you being Richard Lewis or a comment about you being Joe Miller. How does it feel to be compared to them?
Well, it's flattering because I respect both of them a great deal. I think they're both great at what they do. Obviously, in terms of trying to kind of make a name for yourself, it kind of sucks. But I understand why. I can see the comparisons. Like, I do sound a bit like Joe Miller, that's true. We're from a similar area in the northeast of England. At least I think he's more like Yorkshire. I'm more like Newcastle, although you can't really tell that by my accent.
I don't know anything about English accents.
Yeah, well, scrub American, mate.
I mean,
but yeah, it's pretty cool. I've got that for a long time, though, because I used to cast League as well. So people are like, is that Joe Miller? So rip.
I think it's Richard Lewis's birthday today, actually.
It is. Yeah, I believe so.
Well, happy birthday to Richard Lewis.
I'm kind of screwed, actually, because apparently I sound like Joe Miller and look like Anders. So whether you see me on camera or whether you hear me, I'm always going to be like someone else.
You're an amalgamation of others.
I should just rename to Mimic at this point. I'll just rename to Mimic, and that'll be my alias. And then if one of them gets sick, I can just go and fill in for them. It's easy.
I think it's better than being compared to Jesse Eisenberg, at least, because that's like all I'm compared to.
Well, he's in that Batman vs Superman movie, isn't he? It's Lex Luthor, I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
It's even
Could be worse, I guess.
It's even worse when you when he's played a character that's almost like personality-wise like identical to you, and then you just get compared to that character all the time and like his role in that movie. It sucks, especially because it's happened like with people in my personal life and with like people that like know me as a caster.
Wait, which personality is similar to?
What's the movie called? Zombieland. The person who plays in that movie.
Nice. Yeah, Zombieland's a sick movie.
It is a good movie.
It is good.
Yeah.
Again, guys, if you've got questions, fire them across to us because we are filling in a lot of time today, and we have no idea when this is going to get live. So hit us up on Twitter because Twitch is moving way too fast for us to answer those questions.
Should be soon, guys. So again, just as a bit of a more in-depth explanation as to what exactly is going on, Europe has like 30 times more ISPs than the States, so there's often routing issues between servers because certain ISPs aren't as good at routing to certain servers as the other ones. That goes on for a long time. So we've been trying to find one, but it seems more so TQM than Titan, but I think Titan's had some problems with it too, is they've been trying to like figure out like what exactly would be the best server option for them, and we've been very unsuccessful so far in that tonight. Also, now that we're doing this in the middle of the game, every time we do it, I think we need like 10 minutes to migrate the game state. Also, the password and the information for this server just got out again, so that's great.
Oh, that's great banter.
That's
it really
great
is.
Banter.
It really is, though. Great banter. Top-notch keck. Top lols.
I'm done, dude.
It's like the 6th time. Brilliant. Me too. I'm done. I'm gonna stare at a wall for a bit.
We don't get overtime in casting.
Nope. Right, so... Wait, are we live now? No, we're not.
No,
We're not live.
this is not live. I think...
Yeah,
I actually didn't pay attention. If it's MR5, it's 16k start, right? Or is it still 10k start?
It'll be MR5 because the last map was as well.
Well, I know it's MR5, but what's the starting
16K.
money? It's
16K,
I
yeah.
would assume. Like,
Yeah.
I thought I saw 10k in the last map, but that would be like way too low.
What? They're knifing?
Wait. Why are we
No,
knifing?
no, they're not. They're not. They're not.
Knife
They're
winner,
shooting.
knife winner goes to finale.
Great English.
It's like it has one of those Danish characters in there. Knife winner goes to... I don't even know how to pronounce that. How's that? How do you pronounce that AE thing?
You're asking the wrong guy there.
Finale.
You're asking the wrong guy.
So 1 versus 1, very intense. The last person's AFK.
All right. I got another question. Pretty decent question. Who do you think's gonna win this whole thing?
The set?
No, the entire
EnVyUs.
tournament. You think EnVyUs will beat
yeah,
whoever wins
absolutely.
this one?
EnVyUs. Well, here's the problem: is like if this event went like on schedule, I feel like we would be seeing a much more solid performance for both of the teams in this matchup. But I still like, even when we were sort of on par and on track back in that overpass map, I still feel like EnVyUs was looking like 8 times more solid than either of these teams. It's a very high number. I probably shouldn't have put it like 8 times. It's like they were just looking way more solid than either of these teams are performing right now. Now, the inconsistencies we're seeing in this map between Titan and QuestionMark are definitely because of the pauses that we constantly have, and there's definitely some like silliness coming in due to that. However, because it's been so long, and because it's probably going to be very late if we do play the finals today, EnVyUs may be suffering from the same sort of thing, where that they just like are getting so late, so they're not taking it serious and whatnot.
That's true. Yeah, you do wonder what kind of effect this has. And actually, someone asked the question. Pratyush Jain, I probably said your name completely wrong. I apologize. Will the long pause affect the players' mentality? I do believe it will. Yeah, I think players like SmithZz, who are playing out of their mind to get us into overtime, may go off the boiler a tiny bit, may start to cool down somewhat. So I always feel that pauses definitely do impact player performance. Okay, we got 16k, so I think what's going to happen, we're just going to start at the very beginning, not bothering to go to the 15-15, of course, because it's overtime anyway, so it'll effectively be 1st to 6 wins this game, guys.
Hey, look. Wait, 1 went to Mickey D. Be right back. Shoutouts to McDonald's. They are now an official sponsor of this event. We've had at least 3 personalities go to McDonald's in the span of this stream.
Damn, Shoxy wants the fillet of fish.
That must be like a really close McDonald's.
Yeah, just next door. Be right back, lads. Go next door for a quick
Doesn't
cheeky
McDonald's
McDonald's.
deliver in Europe? Certain ones?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think so.
I know in big cities in the States they do.
Really?
Also in China. In China they do.
That is a different level of laziness, though.
I did an event in China once, and the catering was from McDonald's on both days.
Oh, man.
I have to say, though, that like Chinese McDonald's is scary.
Why
I
is
had
that?
some lettuce on a sandwich.
And was it alive?
What? No, the lettuce was like purple almost in certain parts and like bluish. It's like a really weird color that like you don't, and it's not like I think lettuce can technically be purple in certain circumstances, but I've seen that before. Some sort of vegetable that's like lettuce can be purple, but it's like it was like a okay. Is it cabbage? Can lettuce be purple too? Isn't it like if it's not ripe it can be purple? I don't know anything about like plants. And we're starting. Let's move away from this point.
Yeah, let's stop talking about lettuce and cabbages because we are live again, guys. Apologies. Hopefully you stuck with us through these trying times. But here we go. We're back into the action again. 6 is the magic number for these teams now. It ended in overtime, and dupreeh breaks the deadlock here in overtime. Smith, the key man for Titan today, has been put 6 foot under momentarily, and that could impact them pretty harshly, I've got to say here, Blue. They were really relying on him to get those AWP shots off.
So with him going down so early, obviously, as we mentioned, TQM get a huge boost from this one, but Scream completely flashed. Has the lineup before that happens. He's going to pick one up, but a great flick from Deve takes down RPK directly after that. Existence is trying to wrap around it here, but he's still ready for this play to come back in. And we even have dupreeh potentially working his way up the ladder here in just a moment, too. Existence is in a very tough position. Doesn't even realize dupreeh. He's going to get the roundhouse punch on him there with the M4. shox trying to find the peek, and oh, on the repeat from Zipnik just shuts him down with the one-tap headshot. And now it's down to a 2 versus 3 with TQM having their players all over the map, and it's basically the same story for Titan.
Bomb's still yet to be planted, though, for Titans. They've got to go hunting here. Got to go seek and destroy TQM. And it's in a pretty bad spot as well. And Endeavor with that AWP. Plus the AWP in the hands of dupreeh. Just has been changed out there for the AK-47. Does make sense. Scream goes to the Molotov. I think that may actually block his own path in there, though. So that's actually going to stop some valuable time from being utilized from Titan. And now shox is a peek on the through. Never tries to get the spray down. It's going to land it just yet. And now Scream somehow gets in. There's a no-scope from dupreeh. And even though shox does come back with a frag, the time is ticking against Titan. But he could actually get onto the site. How is this even possible for shox to plant this? And he got the kill on dupreeh! What the hell?
But, okay, yeah. Unfortunately, he peeks it, he peeks it at the complete wrong angle. I'll just leave.
I was ready to lose my pants there. That made no sense.
So
doesn't have to.
When we talk about the players being thrown off by the pauses, that's exactly what we mean. It's like that. Technically, he shouldn't have done that. But he probably had reason to believe that angle or that side of the bomb train was clear, so that wasn't completely like a bad decision.
Yeah. At this point, I'm a bit delirious anyway myself. So I think we've been casting like what 7 or 8 hours, like solidly or something.
I just got over 7 hours on the stream timer, so it's been about 6 hours of casting if we subtract like the hour break.
Oh yeah, and the pauses as well. It's been more like 2 hours of casting with all the pauses, to be fair. But TQM, after that first round victory, I'm not going to say they were looking strong there. There's some serious mistakes that happened, but they still managed to somewhat get it. You saw the confrontation very nearly kick off an upper. The 2 players in question just backed away in the last second. And Titan again. We've already discussed this in regulation time, Blue. They have seemingly got this very one-dimensional approach to train, and that's to play very slow. We haven't seen any full-on aggressions onto A, really. Well, it's like except for the last 2 seconds.
The thing is, like this kind of works in that for most of the regulation time, TQM were almost always feeding them like 1 or 2 kills, where they would get very aggressive to try and get intel or something like that, and they would often lose it. But the problem is that after that, they would end up unfortunately not taking advantage of those 1 or 2 kills and just falling back. This time, though, to be honest, they're just kind of walking onto the A bomb site after they set up the smokes. But still leaving some angles open, is giving room for TQM to bounce back. They bring it down to a 2 versus 2. Deve actually going to get taken down just before he can retreat around the corner. Existence finds that frag, and then shox. He's going to be able to outlurk Xipix, takes him down, and Titan bounce right back to pick up another round to tie us up 1-1 in overtime. Keep in mind, this has been reset. This is overtime right now, and it's the first team to 6 rounds is going to win this map. Assuming it isn't tied up at 5-5.
Yeah, indeed. If it goes to 5-5, we'll have second overtime. First map went to TQM. An overpass also went to overtime. So Titan have to win this to stay in this best of 3. I believe whatever happens here in this best of 3, we will be playing the finals tonight. So there is another BO3 after this. karrigan, though. Again with the aggressive Ivy push. This time he's going to get his man of RPK. Backs away, throws the grenade in case anyone tries to charge him down. And he will get out of there free. So good opening pick from TQM. And again, Titan just kind of lurking around T main, just waiting for something to show itself. See if SmithZz or shox can land the AWP shots. No is the answer for SmithZz.
cajunb shutting out SmithZz. Now Scream pushing forward. He's been showing some good stuff here in the previous 2 rounds. Shuts out Deve. And now trying to bounce it back for his team a little bit. The problem is, though, is again, despite having this frag on the board and despite losing 2 of their teammates, we still have seen very little map progress being gained, or map control, I should say, being gained here by Titan. They're still stuck on the outskirts in the areas that you normally see the T's going to at the beginning, and those places that the CTs normally don't dare to go unless they're looking for a fight. Just waiting that timer down now, and TQM, no reason to panic about it as of yet. He's holding 2 and 2 together here. waiting for the actual push to come, which should be happening at any moment here.
Ooh, karrigan. Unfortunate timing. shox just peaked at the worst possible second. Now Scream. Oh, probably should have made better of that and got that frag. It would have been big. cajunb finally gets picked off, but there's Zipex as well. Has gone in favor of Titan. dupreeh is high on HP though, but is he going to get caught as he tries to push onto the site? He does eventually. The trade comes out for Titan, and they have picked up yet another round. And QTM, you can see there cajunb, because he's consistently got those buys off, only has 2.8k to spend. So they now need to be careful as well, their economy. They can't consistently get these big weapons out with the AWPs. So no AWPs in play this round for Q2M. Q2M, yep, the new team, mate. Brilliant.
Did you say QTM?
Q2M, I went for. Like an absolute idiot.
In all fairness, I hate this new team name of theirs. I can't wait
Same.
till they announce the org.
Weird.
I hate calling them QuestionMark. Also, it's like a really bad placeholder because, like, on brackets and stuff, if they want to like say who's playing in the next match, they can't put the QuestionMark anywhere because that could mean them.
This is true.
They've really rattled the cages as far as CS tournament event organization is concerned. Anyway, shox is gonna look for this op peek here, but karrigan is trying to do the same thing back against him. No op in his hands, however, on the other end, the CT side of Ivy, and this is gonna give RpK the momentum he needs to push forward. He's watching that left side a little bit more. They're gonna switch it back to back here as shox tries to support it, gets himself into that duel with karrigan. He's on 37 HP, but he's gonna fall back instead of chasing it. So again, Titan, very, very passive, very slow. Want to make sure they'll have the advantage when they go for a bomb take. Or a site take, I should say.
I suppose the bad news for QTM, though, is they have no smokes to play with. So this is where the AWPs are going to come huge for Titan. If they just go and peek out of Team 8, for example, they could potentially get some picks. There's the first one from shox. Scream as well with a headshot. dupreeh finally finds his man of shox. But is it too late? Zipex, meanwhile, on B, does hold this one off. But unbeknownst to QuestionMark, it is going to be a push onto A. Smith finally gets the kill. What just happened there? Somehow, but 15 seconds remain on the time. As Devil will pick him off, running up the train. The bomb is now forced to push onto A. There's not enough time to rotate onto B site, so Scream should get picked off any second now. Or will he? First frag comes in. There's 3 seconds left. Oh, he was so close to spotting the second player, but time will tick against him, and now he has to stay alive. Doesn't lose all of that economy. There we go.
Definitely smart
QTM
about that.
Somehow get the round, but my god, was that close.
I've honestly, like, Scream probably had like a 70% chance of winning that duel versus Debbie if Debbie had stuck around and taken it. So that's actually very smart that he falls back and just goes away, because no problems with money for the most part here and just keeping that alive. If he had gone down, it wouldn't have been the biggest deal in the world. But if he gives them the round, that's the problem. So that's going to give them a very big lead if they don't want to have happen here now. But as we take a look here on the final round of the first half of overtime, you can see him starting to press away, and Debbie stuck into a corner. It absolutely gets destroyed the second he comes outside of it. Scream picking up 2 kills to start it off. karrigan responds with a pickup on RpK, but then shox finding one for Titan as well, and there's Scream up in the face of Zipex, takes him down, and along with shox finding another pickup, Titan will be leading going out of the first half here, and they'll be 3 more rounds away from taking us on to map number 3 of this. Oh, god damn it.
You what, mate? You what? What's that? Map change?
Why did it change?
Yeah, so apparently today I learned that overtime has now been reduced to first to 3 wins. Brilliant.
Like, why? What parameter has been met to make the map change? I'm actually curious.
Maybe an admin kind of derped
We have another
the
like
overtime.
10-minute wait now.
Yeah, now I'm seeing on Skype people are like, what?
Oh
The other
gosh.
streams are like, you what, mate? What was that? So yeah, back to the questions. Brilliant.
Oh, that was actually... Oh, that sucked. All right, so realistically, this will get loaded back in. One thing to note, like just so we can talk about the game a little bit before we go off our knockers again, is that SmithZz, I don't think he was nearly as strong in overtime as he was in regulation time. I don't think we were seeing as much from there. And to be honest, again, earlier on in regulation, and like the regulation halves too, we were like CT half, I didn't really see anything very impressive from him at all. And the T half for like the first 3 quarters of it, nothing from him. But then he just like bounces back all of a sudden in these past like in the last like 5 rounds of it and goes absolutely crazy. Unfortunately though, he's gone like right back to that sort of lackluster play that we were seeing at the beginning of the match as well here in overtime. So that could become problematic, especially as they're now going to be switching over to the CT side. So that's just something to keep in mind here. And Scream as well wasn't really super strong on the CT side in regulation either. So I don't think he's going to be as big of a proponent, and I don't think SmithZz is going to be as big of a proponent. So you're looking at players like RpK really has to step up because he was the one that was like the shining star on the CT side in regulation.
Yeah, very true. SmithZz definitely did start to slump a tiny bit. But fortunately for Titan, it was Scream that stood up. Scream's the guy that finished on 9 for 4. He's the guy that was an absolute beast towards the end there, picking up the frags. I think he landed a 4-man in the last round to give them that lead. So if he can continue to work forward. And he did have a quiet game as well on train. On CT, I think I remember saying he was on 7 for 14 at halftime, rock bottom of the scoreboard. So if he starts to show up again, then that definitely will take a lot of pressure off SmithZz's shoulders for sure. I'm still just stuck on the loading screen. I don't know about you, Blue.
Okay, so update from the admins. Ebot meant I couldn't force the half. I need to restart it again. So,
okay.
Unsurprisingly, Ebot screwed up. And according to one of the other casters, this map has now been going on for 2 hours and 11 minutes.
Sounds about right.
Here we go. Hold on. Now that we can get to the questions, because this one's going to be funny. I'll ask you this one, because I don't know crap about the UK scene, but will UK ever get a scene?
Nope. Next question.
That's like me when I'm asked if NA will ever get a good team.
There's too many attitude problems in the UK, like straight up.
It sounds a lot like NA.
Yeah, too many. There's individually sick players in the UK, but they don't stick together long enough to get anywhere. Well, that's not necessarily true. You have certain teams out there. I'm thinking of like Infused and such that have been together for a while, but it's kind of hard for them to progress to the next level. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know the answers to this, but I feel like the UK scene overall is kind of screwed. Let's just say.
Easy skins though. Oh wait,
they disbanded. Yep.
Rip.
Who won the first map of Team QuestionMark versus Titan? QTM won.
QTM.
MTQ.
What are your thoughts, man? This slap happy green guy actually giving us legitimate questions, shoutouts. What are your thoughts on Optic/X Conquest lineup and Optic hitting into CS:GO? Okay, so like Optic getting into CS:GO along with FaZe, whoever they pick up, is like an inevitability just because there's so much money in CS now. There's no reason not to do it, especially because Call of Duty now as well, which is what these orgs are based out of, is starting to sort of shift more into the mainstream esports sector. In that, like, for the longest time, it's been isolated because they've been on, like, MLG TV, and it's just been, like, this odd island off in the corner. But now that we're starting to see them do more stuff on Twitch and whatnot, they're starting to sort of get back they're sort of starting to, like, shift back over towards the rest of the esports spectrum, I guess you could say. It's going to take a while because it's Call of Duty, and a lot of people just have opinions on that one that are probably never going to go away. But, again, CS is another way to sort of boost your organization's power. In terms of Optic specifically picking up the X Conquest lineup, I think that was actually a really good move because obviously, again, you look at all the North American lineups that are available, I honestly think, again, they're probably one of the ones that has the most potential to rise up to a certain degree. I'm not saying that they're going to be like the best North American team, but I think that they can compete with the best simply because, again, they're not changing their roster, and I think that they have some very good things being built on them with the way that they perform their attitudes and whatnot, and just the individual players that could eventually make them one of the more top North American teams. I'm not saying anything about them being a top team in the world, but at least in terms of the North American spectrum, they can compete pretty heavily, which, again, there is a lot of publicity in the North American spectrum with how much lower it is when you compare it to the world.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much on the money there. Personally, the more orgs that join CS:GO, the better, as far as I'm concerned. It can never be a bad thing, so I'm all for it personally. I think their choice was pretty wise as well overall, and they're an org that can definitely build into CS. I have just got back onto the server, so that's the good news is that we do have the players on the server.
Samesies.
Bad news is we haven't quite got it set up just yet, so it's probably going to be a few more minutes before we do get this underway.
Or we could just give them the starting money and go from the score again.
Yeah,
which honestly is probably the better option at this point. It'll take like far less time to do that.
Been confirmed as well. The final is going to be tonight, so we're here for the long haul, Blue. We're here for a while yet.
Fun. I'm ready. Is the final best of 3 or best of 5?
At this point, may as well just be a best of 12, mate. Let's do it. Let's do it. I think.
Wait, are they changing server again?
It honestly wouldn't surprise me.
I think Wait. No, okay, I don't think they're. I think they like. I think there's. No, it's people. Everybody isn't connected yet, so they still think it's someone else's password. I was about to get very angry if they were gonna switch servers again. What
Also,
I want to know.
moron.
I want to know is how the hell the password keeps getting out.
Good question. I'm also a moron because I just said best of 12, which would go 6-6, and then what? You just end in a tie?
Overtime.
Overtime last map.
Overtime
Let's do it.
map.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thanks for the save.
I don't even know how an overtime map would work. Like, I'm trying
Keep
to
the
think about
questions
this
coming in,
now.
by the way, guys.
I don't really see a way that this would work.
Yeah. I kind of derped. It's all good. It won't be the last time I derp tonight, that's for sure. Ask myself or Blue some questions, guys. Top of the stream in the title, you can find our Twitters. Fire them out. Keep us sane, please. You're actually doing us a service, to be honest.
I'm gonna keep eating McDonald's.
It's probably a good idea.
Wait,
what?
hold on, what's going on? The game's doing something.
Now suddenly all I see is a scoreboard in the middle of my screen, and I can't get rid of it.
What are my thoughts on some skins costing $10,000+ US? There are very rich people in the world that don't know what to do with their money. And thus, virtual skins. Clearly, for anyone who doesn't understand that, you've never played EVE Online. Because, like, if you convert the value of items in that game to real life, some of the stuff is crazy.
I have never actually played EVE Online. Is it good?
It's a spreadsheet simulator. But if you actually get to the point where you get to do, like, battles and stuff, like big multi-hundred people battles, then it's fun. Because at that point, it's like you're on like a TeamSpeak with like a couple, like, shitloads of other people. Oh, I just cursed. That's it. We're done. You're on a TeamSpeak with, like, a lot of other people, and it's like chaotic, and battles will last for like hours at a time. But the problem is it takes like 8 months to get to that point. So because your skills train in real time in that game, so you have to like consistently add new skills to a queue, and they have to train more and more.
Can I get a flu buck in chat, please? After we just dropped the S-bomb? Thanks.
I don't know. I'm not very PC.
Me neither, actually.
I mean, if you ever watch me like when I'm not casting, I'm pretty vulgar, to be
I'm
honest.
exactly the same. My sense of humor is dark. How terrible are you at Rockstar? Huh? Oh, do you mean Rocksmith? I'm pretty terrible, Cameron. I assume you don't play Rocksmith, Blue. Do you play an instrument?
So I played quite a few instruments. I played violin for like 9 years. I played guitar very casually, played piano very casually, and I played the drums very casually for a while. And I also did musicals in high school.
Man, I would pay money to see that.
No, I don't think there's videos on YouTube. There are videos though. They're like DVDs, however.
I just realised I said flu buck as well. It should be buck flu. What am I doing with my life?
I was a bit confused as well as to what. I thought
What?
that was some better Twitch TV emote I had never heard of before.
That is literally lack of sleep and no brains right there. A flu buck. Oh my god. That should be on my tombstone. Gravestone. Again, wrong word. Brilliant.
Is this live? I think this is live.
I hope it's live.
This looks like it's live. I think
This also means
alright.
we're going to have to do maths. So Titan won
It's
3-2 first half, right?
So Titan just need two. No, Titan. Crap. Titan need
Mouthful
three
of food.
rounds to win.
Professional.
TQM need 4 to win.
Right.
Let's get to it. You cast first.
That's probably a good idea. Existence. Gonna break open this, well, it's not the first round. It's however many rounds have been in this best of 3. But shox comes right back. Decent start for Titan. This, of course, will put them 4-2 in the lead right now in overtime. But TQM answering back with a frag of their own. They have got the bomb planted as well. And looking to push as well in the form of dupreeh. Taking the aggressor's role, RPK's been tagged down heavily, going to be jumping on top of that train. Molotov didn't quite connect on the site, so that allows Devon to just stand there pretty much and wait for the CTs to push him, and now he's the lone survivor on the terrace. He gets picked off from SmithZz, and they will be able to defuse the bomb as well. So Titan moved to 4-2 in the lead. And remember, they have to get to 6 to win this overtime, and indeed this map.
2 more needed, and they survive with quite a few players left alive here too. The double op setup is going to remain just as strong. And for the guys over here now in TQM, thankfully they're on the T side here, so it's never really going to get to a point where like they're completely like out of cash for the most part here, but they do need to start bouncing back these rounds very quickly and try to, at the very least, secure the 3 more that are needed to get them up to 5 and take us into double OT, because if not, this is now a very dangerous lead for Titan, especially if they pick up this one, and we might be looking at that 3rd map very, very quickly if this isn't handled by the members of TQM.
Very true. Really are skating around the problem right now at TQM, hoping not to wake the beast of Titan. And so far, Titan did get the early utility used into team main, also Pop Dog, and they just backed themselves off to the side. So at this point, TQM, I mean, the pressure's already on their shoulders, but the fact there's 2 ops in play, Titan don't even want to go peeking. They just want to sit on the sides, like have turrets effectively set up, and just wreck anyone that rushes them. So TQM are going to have to execute, and we're starting to see the smokes landing in, the flashes as well. This could be the moment to start going in. karrigan's going to set it up for connector. Well, TQM going to be successful here. They simply have to be.
RpK sitting back over here just outside of the short lane, lining up a nice shot with some assistance from Scream. He's able to take down cajunb. However, the response coming in from dupreeh, and even that gets responded to by Existence. Existence holding a large amount of control over this right now. He's going to shut down karrigan. That drops the bomb. They did manage to light RpK on fire and burn him alive, but dupreeh is on the last one here, and he's actually going to line up a headshot on a shox. That drops him, but now they know where he is. They've just got to line him up. If he peeks to the left of this bomb train, he's going to be a dead man, and to be honest, he might be a dead man regardless of where he goes. He needs this smoke. He smokes off Z, and he peeks back out, but thankfully, SmithZz was not expecting him to peek from that angle so quickly, so he is given some time. But look at the timer itself. He's only got 15 seconds left. Molly's just going to go completely over the bomb itself, and that's an easy shutdown for Existence, and the rest of Titan now find another round pickup here, just 1 more away from closing out this map and taking us over to Dust 2 for map 3.
Yeah, it's 5-2 now to Titan. So, TQM gonna have an AWP and AKs, full grenades including 5 Molotovs, split right across the board. Everything rests in this round. They lose this. I do wonder what psychological effect this will have after so many pauses if they go into Dust 2. A map of peace. Existence gets the first frag as well. cajunb will answer back her, but elsewhere on Ivy, which is SmithZz pushing up with the AWP. Again, that's a power player taking off the cards right now for Titan. But, oh, RpK actually sprays down cajunb through the smoke. Just pure timing. Huge.
That's going to catch him there too now. Because unfortunately, he stayed still. Could have revealed some things that would have given away his position there. Now Titan's still holding a strong hold on sort of both these sides. shox actually picks up a kill on trades, which is only going to benefit his team even more. They still hold a 1-man advantage. They got the intel that they were going to fall back here now, so Existence is going to move in to support this. He does spot the play coming out from lower. He knows that there's players in this site. Not sure if he spotted the bomb as of yet, but no, he definitely has. The remaining 2 from Titan, they're starting to rotate into Zipnix, though. He's got to be very careful. That smoke will be going away at any moment here, and they want to hold this for the long run, but Existence is not going to give him the chance to do so. Devi's kind of screwed himself over there with that smoke, but thankfully able to take the pressure anyway. He picks up that first kill, lit the hell up now as he's back down at 10 HP, and he's going to have to hold in this corner as the rest of the Titan wrap back around. RpK is going to be able to finish him up, but Zipix still alive, still very well sitting up on top. And he's got the molly. Will it be the dream molly is the question here now. Here's the defuse, tossing it on. That's going to cover the bomb. Okay. I'm done, man. I'm sorry. I hate this so much.
I'll be right back, jumping out my window.
So, I guess Titan won that round.
Oh my god, that was perfect. Your reaction was perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so it loaded the Dust 2, so I'm assuming 3rd map.
Jesus Christ.